Good evening, everyone, and welcome inside the Hively Family Television Broadcast Suite in the Don Constantini Multimedia Center at Stambaugh Stadium in Youngstown, Ohio, where the number 2 South Dakota State Jackrabbits and the number 18 Youngstown State Penguins are getting set to open conference play in the Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week. My name is Dre Smith. I'll be joined by my broadcast partner, former national champion defensive lineman and NFL linebacker Frank Stambaugh, here in just a moment. Youngstown State is led by sixth-year head coach Doug Phillips. The Penguins finished the non-conference portion of its schedule at 3-1 after a thrilling 31-28 comeback victory at Towson on September 20th. The Penguins trailed by 11 in the fourth quarter before charging back with the help of 2 clutch field goals from National Special Teams Player of the Week Andrew Lastovka, including the game winner from 42 yards as time expired. On the other side tonight, 4-0 South Dakota State is led by first-year head coach Dan Jackson, who has returned to his alma mater after serving last season as the defensive coordinator at Idaho. Jackson previously served as an assistant under longtime legendary South Dakota State head coach John Stiglmeyer from 2012 to 2019. The Jackrabbits are coming off a dominant 51-7 home win over Mercyhurst last Saturday. Tonight's game also features a battle of 2 outstanding quarterbacks as we take a look at our key players presented by State Farm. Youngstown State junior quarterback Bo Brungard has been one of the most dynamic rushers at the quarterback position this season. As you take a look at his numbers, 8 rushing touchdowns, 4 passing touchdowns, and 1 interception, 500 yards on the ground for Bo Brungard. And on the other side, Chase Mason, first-year starting quarterback, has thrown for over 900 yards, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions, and has also run for over 100 yards on the ground. He threw for a career-high 321 yards and 3 touchdowns last Saturday in the Jacks' victory over Mercyhurst. As we move closer to tonight's opening kickoff, thrilled to bring in my broadcast partner and former national champion defensive lineman with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and former NFL linebacker, Frank Stambaugh. Frank, great to be with you for a big matchup tonight in Youngstown. 2 great quarterbacks that we looked at. What do you expect here tonight?
Dre, I am so excited for this. How do you go wrong with 2 quarterbacks, one by the great, all-American names here, Chase Mason and Bo Brungard? I mean, it just doesn't get any better than it. For Youngstown State, you're going to see both. They're both teams, both offenses are quarterback-centric, and very similar. You're going to see a little quickness, more quickness out of Bo Brungard. You're going to see in his run, especially in the red zone. And then Chase Mason, you're going to see him run bigger kid, 6'4", 240. I was 6'4", 240 when I played in the NFL. So I'd hate to be tackling him. He's a bigger kid, sits well in the pocket, but the most impressive thing about him, well, both of them command the offensives, but the most impressive thing about him, hasn't thrown an interception in the 3 years that he's taken snaps for the Jackrabbits. I'm looking for an outstanding game tonight.
And there you get a look at Chase Mason, the 6'4", 240-pound senior from Hurley, South Dakota, as Frank mentioned. No interceptions this year, 8 touchdowns through the air, over 900 yards, among the nation's leaders, completing almost 72% of his passes. And he's got a talented crew, although he will be without his leading receiver, Lofton Ogroski, here today. On first down, quick throw, and it is complete near side. Making the catch is Alex Bullock, the senior wide receiver from Omaha, Nebraska, and a first down for the Jackrabbits.
How about that setup? Throws the ball on time. It's a quick little 6, 7, 8, 10. Well, in this case, gets the first down on the out. Wonderful timing there, quick release. He's got a good command. You're seeing now offenses get a feel for what the defense. You're going to see some motion. You're going to see some shifting a little bit. There's your motion. They're going to start showing different looks to the defense.
Here's Mason as he sprints out far side, and the Penguins were ready for that keeper as Parker Jacobs was the first man there for the Penguins. A number of red jerseys converge.
Take a look at this off the little play action right there, and Jacobs is there, and that's what you can't allow an offense to do. I don't care who the quarterback is. You can't let them break contain. Nick Saban used to say, when you break contain, we have no defenses for when the quarterback breaks contain.
And here's Mason now facing 2nd and long. Mason, his first year as a starter at South Dakota State, sat behind former Walter Payton Award winner Mark Gronowski. Here's another quick throw to the sideline, and it's Bullock again making the catch along the painted area. close to a first down, but it will be 3rd and short.
Go back to the same play they opened up the game with right there. And again, you take a look at his setup. He's got a nice motion. He's balanced, delivers the strike there, low and away from the defender. Nice job by Mason. It sets up a manageable, very manageable 3rd and short.
South Dakota State averaging 34.5 points per game through their first 4 contests this season. Opening on offense in this Missouri Valley Football Conference game of the week. Mason pass tipped in the air, falls to the turf, incomplete. I believe it was Karsten Marshall that came flying in to get a hand on it, and that will likely bring out the punting unit for South Dakota State, although it looks like the offense is staying out there.
Marshall does a great job. Now these are the plays that you got to make as a defense that don't really show up anywhere in the stats. The knockdown ball by Marshall, you see that, knowing that he can't get to the quarterback, so how can he affect the play another way? Gets his hands up, knocks the ball down, puts him in a 4th down situation.
So South Dakota State will line up at least to go for it on 4th and short on their opening drive of the game. Bullock in motion. Mason will take the snap, fires high, incomplete, and the Penguins get a big 4th down stop to open this game on their home field, and they'll take over on offense.
Great job by the Penguins there on 4th down. You see the setup right there. All right, a little bit of a hitch right there. Throws the timing off, I think, with Chase Mason delivering the ball to his receiver. The ball is thrown high, really uncatchable. Had a lot of zip on it, but that's a great stop for the Penguins, and it gives them great field position.
So South Dakota State decides to go for it on their first 4th down. And now Bo Brungard is on the field leading the YSU offense. The 6', 215-pound junior from New Middletown, Ohio, put together another impressive campaign through 4 games this season. Play action on the Penguins' first play from scrimmage. He's going to tuck it. This is where he can be special. And he is wrapped up after a modest gain. You see the speed, and that's what Dan Jackson talked about this week, Frank, was we have to get to Bo Brungard.
He's got nothing. They go with the pass. He's got right there. Slips a tackle, slips another tackle, and that's the speed. It's that split second right there, that quickness. He can get by those 2 would-be tacklers. If he doesn't, that's no gain, but he does, you got a 5-yard gain on 1st down.
2nd down and 5 for the Penguins. Brungard. Little sprint out option play. He's going to keep it. Now pitches out, and Ethan Wright has it down the sideline for a big gain and a Penguin 1st down. And that's the first action of the season for Ethan Wright, the 6'1" senior from Akron, Ohio, who returns tonight after suffering an Achilles injury last season.
Wow, how about that? Running the option to perfection there, in my opinion. Haven't seen that since Marcus Dupree ran that in Oklahoma. And then he draws the defense toward him, Brungard does. And then when they commit to him, flips the ball for a huge gain.
Heck of a one-handed grab by Wright on the receiving end as well on the pitch. 1st and 10 at the 23. Brungard, play action, sets in his drop, fires, end zone. Tom Zach has it. Touchdown, Youngstown State. And the Penguins strike first here tonight at Stambaugh Stadium.
Wow, take a look at this. Off the play action, sees Tom Zach on the crosser. He beats 2 defenders. And Brungard recognizes that and just lays it out there perfectly for Tom Zach.
Max Tomczak, who has become one of the top receivers in the country, the senior who was a walk-on, earned a scholarship, and is now on the NFL radar in his senior season, and what an impact he has already made in this game. YSU jumps out ahead as Andrew Listowka, the reigning National Special Teams Player of the Week, will come on to try and add the extra point. Out of Kilpatrick's hold, it is up and through, and that'll take us to our first timeout. Bo Brungard to Max Tomczak gives YSU a 7-0 lead early 1st quarter here at Stambaugh Stadium. We'll be back with more in this Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week. Welcome back. Stambaugh Stadium in Youngstown, Ohio. Dre Smith, Frank Stams, and our crew with you here tonight for the Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week between number 2 South Dakota State and number 18 Youngstown State. The Penguins strike first after getting a 4th down stop on the opening drive. Defensively, they answer 23-yard touchdown pass from Bo Brungard to Max Tomczak. The Penguins lead 7-0 here early in the 1st quarter. Josh Wilkins sends it deep into the end zone, where the Jackrabbits will make the fair catch, and out come the offense again for South Dakota State after what looked like a promising drive to start their first possession. They had a 4th and short and threw an incomplete pass, and now find themselves down 7-0.
Dre, when I saw the Jackrabbits come out of that tunnel, I said, man, those are the biggest Jackrabbits I've ever seen in my life. Which, how do you know, when you're outsized, you got to beat a team with execution and speed, and you saw that out of the Penguin offense starting at midfield.
South Dakota State, of course, known for great offensive line play, great program. We'll talk more about that as the night goes along, as Mason fires out wide, intended for Graham Goring, comes up short, incomplete. But you're right, Frank. You look at the starting offensive line for the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. You have a preseason All-American at left tackle in Quentin Christensen, who's a 6'5", 300-pound junior. William Papke at 6'5", 315 at left guard. At center, Shane Willenbring, who's 6'4", 305. Kenyon Bigbo at 6'5", 310 at right guard. And then the captain, Sam Hagan, at right tackle, 6'6", 320. So nothing has changed in the way of size and power with South Dakota State here this season. Handoff goes to Julius Loffridge, the first time we've seen him tonight, and he makes an immediate impact as he is still going down the sideline. And they're going to say he stepped out, as they'll blow the play dead, as we got to look at the active FCS leader in rushing yardage, Julius Loffridge.
You watch this now. Safety comes up. There's Hickey right there, forces it to the perimeter, but there's no support on the corner. You got to have that support. You got to have the defense all working together. All right, good fill in the alley there, but great job by the running back.
As he stepped out at the 40, first down.
The softness in that defense and being able to turn the corner.
Saw a great look at the run down the sideline, and he was out well back in his own territory at near the 40-yard line. So that is where South Dakota State will be on offense. Talk about Julius Loffridge as we have a stoppage. He had a great career at Fordham at the FCS level. Ran for over 3,000 yards at Fordham. Comes in as a transfer this season with South Dakota State.
Replay is reviewed. Let's put the ball at the 33-yard line.
So our head official, John Shea, gives us the update that they've reviewed it upstairs, and they'll actually mark the ball back at the 33. So that's where South Dakota State will set up shop.
And so far, Mason, the quarterback, needs to trust that big offensive line you were talking about a little bit ago. It seems like he's out of rhythm. That first incomplete pass in this series, he was looking at the ground. He didn't feel right with his footing. You know, he's a little bit off right now. You know, he's had some completions because he's that good to overcome, you know, lack of a little bit of rhythm. He's got to trust that big offensive line. He's got time back. If he wants to be successful, he's got to be patient.
So we get the chains reset, get everything where it needs to be. 3rd and 2 from the 33 after the run by Loffridge. Late substitutions for the Jackrabbits. On the season, South Dakota State converting 36% of their third downs offensively.
There's your shift.
Mason out of the pistol formation. Quick throw, but it's well out in front of his intended receiver, Isaiah Garcia Castaneda. And as you said, Frank, a little out of rhythm right now is Mason. It'll be a punting situation for the Jackrabbits.
Just a little bit off. You know, I didn't play quarterback, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. And he needs to set himself a little bit, or I'd rather just rely on that strong arm to complete everything. Talking to some quarterbacks that I know, Bernie Kosar being one of his quarterbacks, throw from the ground up. You throw with your feet. You got to get that good base.
The incomplete pass brings up 4th down, and Max Pelham will send it away for the first time tonight. Max Tomczak back deep, secures it at the 15, and that'll take us to a timeout. 11:04 left to go. First quarter here in Youngstown. Homestanding Penguins out in front of the Jackrabbits at the moment, 7-0. We'll be back with more after this on the Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week. Youngstown State back on offense after forcing a South Dakota State punt. Bo Brungard goes back to work leading his offensive unit. He's got some room to work up the middle on the keeper. out past the 25-yard line, near a first down. Bo Brungard comes into this game with 526 rushing yards, 7.5 yards per carry. He's carried it more than double anybody else on the Penguins offense.
Great recognition by Brungard on that, just following his fullback up through the line for a huge gain on first down. That's winning first down.
Here's a motion pitch play to Flash Wilson, and he's met near the line of scrimmage. Fights, but not much doing. Good effort by the South Dakota State defense to string that play out for a minimal gain, if anything.
You're seeing Dre right now, you're seeing offensive coordinators look at, it's a little bit of a chess match. Offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators. You saw the inside run on the first down. Now you see the quick perimeter run. Now we're going to see, you're going to see the ball be thrown. It should be thrown all over the field. Just kind of testing that defense, see where the soft spots are.
Second down and 9 after a short pickup on the completion to Wilson. Brungard sets in his drop, fires deep. Hensley's the intended receiver, but great coverage out there from Isaiah Johnson, the senior corner from Chicago Heights, Illinois, who was with Hensley the whole way.
That is great coverage by Johnson there, running step for step with the receiver, being physical against the receiver as well, really. And Brungard did the right thing, throwing the ball out there so, his receiver could run underneath it, and only he could catch it.
Isaiah Johnson, who was in coverage on that play, was a all-conference performer last year at Division II Bemidji State, had 4 interceptions, now a starter. This defensive unit for the Jackrabbits. 3rd and 9 for the Penguin offense, leading 7-0 here in the opening quarter. Brungard in the shotgun with Ethan Wright. Steps up in the pocket. Throws over the middle, and the pass incomplete, again intended for Hensley. Off the mark, 4th down, and we'll see Brendan Kilpatrick come out to punt it away for YSU.
Good pressure by the Jackrabbits up front. They force Brungard off his spot, make him throw the ball on the run, which is one of the hardest things to do as a quarterback.
And out comes Brendan Kilpatrick, the reigning FCS Punter of the Year. All-American last season. Honored as the nation's top punter, now a senior for the Penguins. Gets his right foot into the football, high, deep kick. Garcia Castaneda waves the hand and makes the fair catch, and that'll take us to a timeout. 9:34 to go first quarter at Stambaugh Stadium in this Missouri Valley Football Conference game of the week. YSU 7, South Dakota State nothing. We'll be back after this. South Dakota State quarterback Chase Mason back to work. 9:34 to go first quarter. At Stambaugh Stadium, the Penguins struck first. Bo Brungard to Max Tomczak. Leaves us at 7-0 YSU. Here's Julius Loffridge on the carry off the right side, and the Penguins are all over it as a number of red jerseys drive Loffridge to the sideline. Not much there. Second down.
Great job by Penguin linebacker. Watching number 33 here. I believe it's Zandier.
Yes, sir.
Way he fills in like that behind the offense or defensive line. That is an outstanding job by that young man. Playing inside out to the football, and then when you're at the tackle, you drive your feet. That's textbook right there.
Senior linebacker Preston Zandier tied for the team lead in tackles coming into tonight. Had a team high 7 tackles in the win at Towson. Mason, quick throw to the outside, complete. That's Graham Goring, the senior wideout from Iowa City, Iowa, who has enough for a Jackrabbit first down.
You see the arm strength right here by Mason. Just zips that ball in there, throws a fastball to Goring for a nice completion. Pick up the first.
Talked about that offensive line for South Dakota State. They're without Lofton Ogroski, their leading receiver, but Graham Goring, a senior. Jack Smith, redshirt freshman. Senior Alex Bullock expected to try and help pick up the slack here tonight. Loffridge takes the handoff, lost his footing, and loses yardage. Nothing doing there as Loffridge could not get started out of the gates. And now it's 2nd and long for South Dakota State.
Not sure if that play had legs anyways. A lot of penetration by the Penguins front 4 there. Doing a great job of controlling or winning, or they're certainly not losing the line of scrimmage, the Penguins there. And I'm seeing a lot of penetration, both in the passing game and in the run game.
Quick screen play to Bullock, but his knee was down as he caught the football, so he knew it. He could not advance. So it's going to be 3rd down after a short pickup on the quick throw to Bullock.
So you see the knee down right there on the catch, down right away. So up in the box, they're seeing the same thing I saw, is that penetration, that aggressiveness by that front four. So what do they do? Go with a little slip screen there to the right, take advantage of that aggressiveness by that front four.
3rd down and 12 for South Dakota State. Went forward on 4th down on their opening possession, didn't get it. Penguins converted to get a touchdown and take the lead. Penguins forced a punt and now trying to do the same again. Mason, pressure coming, throw complete to Jack Smith. And it's going to be short of a 1st down though, out at the 41-yard line, as the redshirt freshman from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Jack Smith, made the catch. But the punting unit will trot out once again for South Dakota State.
Talk about pressure. The Penguins bring 6 here, and that forces a quick throw by Mason. Great job there at the point of the catch, getting the receiver out of bounds and short of the first down. That's outstanding job. Was that Harris?
Yep, DJ Harris.
Great job.
Big for the Penguins to have him back this week. He's missed the last few weeks after starting the opener against Mercyhurst, back at corner for the Penguins.
And that's great football IQ there, because he knows the pressure's coming and he's got to play that coverage tight.
Pelham, second punt of the evening. Tom Zach will let it hit the goal line and bounce into the end zone, where it'll be a touchback. And Youngstown State will have it back, leading 7-0. 5:59 to go in our opening quarter. We talked about South Dakota State and just the success they've had as a program. You look at this team, Frank, they're seeking their 4th consecutive Missouri Valley Football Conference title. They're 64-10 since the 2020 calendar year. Of course, back-to-back national championships in 2022, 23. And what amazes me is this league, Missouri Valley Football Conference, obviously the best league at the FCS level, the toughest, and they're 23-1 in MVFC play over the last 3 seasons.
It's just incredible. The program is just outstanding. And I'd love to see that one of their own, Dan Jackson, has taken over to continue that tradition. But this, you talk about one of the premier programs in the country at any level. I mean, South Dakota State, they've got it going on.
And it's pretty impressive, too, as we get the call here.
The previous play is under further review.
I mean, what is it, 13 consecutive playoff appearances, I believe?
That's right.
It is, yeah.
13 straight FCS playoff appearances, as they're going to review the punt at the goal line, I believe. So they'll take a look at that. But talking about the Jackrabbits, it's also amazing, Frank, you know, to go to the playoffs is one thing, but they've been to at least the semifinal round each of the last 5 seasons and 7 times in the last 8 campaigns.
It's just incredible. And I'll tell you, Dre, you and I were talking about this before the game. The word's out. These kids see that. And this team is growing organically. You don't see a lot of transfers coming in and out of this program. And to me, that's going to be the future. I think these kids understand if I'm coming out of high school, if I'm going to commit to a school, I want that school to commit to me. So
After further review, the ruling on the field of a touchback is upheld.
So that ball did land on the goal line, but it ended up on the 2-yard line. A little deceiving if you're not watching it closely. But yeah, these kids want that commitment out of the school, and there's no better way to grow your program than organically. Here we see, take a look at that. That ball hits right on the goal line,
right there on the white turf. So it's out to the 20, and the Penguins back to work, leading 7-0. Under 6 minutes to go in our opening quarter. Brungard, 2 backs in there, 1 on each hip. Takes the snap, forced off his spot, now rolls near side right, throws it out to Ethan Wright, but it's off his hands and incomplete. I think he might have been thinking about getting upfield before he secured it. 2nd down.
Ethan's got to come up with that ball. Brungard does a nice job eluding the rush, and then what's impressive is as he's in his scramble, he's got his vision up. His vision's downfield. All right, he's got his shoulder square to the line of scrimmage so he can make that throw. And then he sees Wright and delivers a ball, a catchable ball to Wright. Got to make those plays.
Brungard now In the shotgun by himself, Flash Wilson crosses the formation in motion. They're going to get it to him on the quick hitter. This is the speed that Flash Wilson brings, and he's up past the first down marker. You see the dynamic ability. Was at Division II Slippery Rock last year, one of the best kick returners and receivers at that level. He's been an impact player for the Penguins as a transfer.
Speed, and I'll tell you can't coach speed. Right there, you see just, in my opinion, I consider that long handoff to the perimeter, get a couple blockers out in front of you, you get a seam, and then you get a result like you did, 12, 13-yard pickup.
Flash Wilson had over 100 kickoff return yards in the win at Towson a couple weeks ago, as well as his receiving ability. Brungard in control at quarterback, 1st and 10 at his own 31-yard line. Takes the snap from Van Keen. A lot of pressure. Brungard going down as the Jackrabbits get home. And that is what they want to do. Dan Jackson said, we have to contain Brungard in that pocket. They got to him there.
Yeah, mission accomplished on that. You talk about pressure. I think that they brought 6 as well on that. And the key there was everybody had a lane discipline. You've got a lane when you rush the quarterback. We see, look at Doug Phillips right there. You've got lane discipline. You've got to keep that discipline, because if you got a scrambling quarterback, which Youngstown State does, a kid that can make plays with his legs, he'll exploit that if you give him a lane.
A loss on the sack will make it 2nd and long. Brungard flips it in his hands as he looks downfield. Fires, has a man, Mike Solomon upfield. Still going, he'll get brought down in South Dakota State territory. And the Penguins on the move as another Slippery Rock transfer, Mike Solomon with a big play.
Wow, that's exciting. That's exciting, but that's what you want to see out of your quarterback. When the play breaks down, this is not his prime. Solomon's not his primary. When the play breaks down, he makes a play.
Here's Brungard now loose on the QB keeper, and he'll go down at about the 35-yard line, 36, they'll mark him down. The Penguins looking to take a 2-score lead early in this one.
Playing with big pace right here. A little shake and bake by the quarterback.
And that time Brungard just kind of throws it out of bounds. Tomczak, excuse me, was in the area. So it will be 3rd and short.
They recognize with this fast-paced offense that they're playing, get to the, get in and out of the huddle fast, get to the line of scrimmage after a big play. They've got the Jackrabbits a little bit on their heels by playing that. When you're an offense and you can play out in front of the defense, you've got the advantage.
3rd down and 3 from the SDSU 36-yard line. Flash Wilson in formation, in motion. They're going to drop it back to him. He's going to leap and get brought down. Great defensive effort from South Dakota State as they were ready for the little pitchback play to Flash Wilson. 4th down. The Penguins look to be keeping the offense on the field.
That's an outstanding play by number 11 from the Jackrabbits.
Joe Ullman.
Joe Ullman chasing it down from the backside. He got some. You got some pressure there at the point of attack, and then Woolman comes from the backside and makes the tackle. Outstanding.
Tomczak in motion as the Penguins line up to go for it on 4th down and 3. Brungard over the middle. Tomczak takes an absolute rocket from Joe Ullman, who we were just talking about. Ullman laid out Max Tomczak. Tomczak's up, and the penalty marker's out. We may have targeting.
Holy cow. That's old school football right there.
And you get a look at Joe Ullman, the junior captain, middle linebacker. He's a great player and a big piece of this defense, and now the officials are going to talk about a possible targeting call.
And I feel sorry for Ullman, because really, in a way, he falls into this right here. He's right there, okay? He makes an effort to turn and give him the shoulder, all right? I hope they don't rule targeting on this.
Personal foul, targeting, defense number 11. The previous play is under further review.
All right, so the targeting call made on Ullman. So now we have to go to review and determine whether it meets the criteria.
Because see, if I see targeting, I'm leading with the crown of my helmet. I'm not turning away and hitting him with my ear hole. That, to me, and he's just there. Actually, some of that is self-defense by Lohman. in my opinion. Now, it looks nasty. That hit really looks nasty because you see Tomczak with the jarring right here. Take a look at it. Right here, Holman's just in a tough spot. That's Bam Bam.
Yeah. It's so tough as a defender. I mean, we'll give you, while we have a chance, let's go through kind of the targeting. Obviously involves a player attacking an opponent with forcible contact beyond what's allowed in a legal tackle. They look at a number of key indicators, such as launching, where a player might leave their feet or thrust their body, make forcible contact to the head or neck area, crouching, where a player might crouch and then thrust upward, leading with the crown of the helmet, hitting a defensive player and leading with other parts of the body, such as the shoulder, forearm, fist. So it's such a tough call, and the more I call games, Frank, the more
to me, it's just got to be flagrant. It's got to be just all out launching, leading with the crown of your helmet. I mean, that's Bam Bam. He's right there. He's almost in the way of the receiver. And I've been in that position too. He's protecting himself. And take into consideration as well is the receiver gets back up. The receiver's not hurt on that.
I've been calling games now up here for about 6 years, and you don't really seem to get a good understanding at times of what it is and what it isn't, but they're gonna take a great look at it. Our replay official, Chris Razzini, and Mike Maisner, our communicator, will take a look at it and determine within the rules what the proper call should be. Targeting was called, so they're either going to uphold that call. You'll hear upheld. That's one of the new changes this year in college football. You either hear upheld, the call on the field, or it is overturned. So we are either going to have a targeting penalty that's upheld against Joe Ullman of South Dakota State, or it will be overturned and it will not be targeting. It should just be a catch from Tomczak and we play on. Youngstown State took the 7-0 lead on a 23-yard touchdown pass from Bo Brungard to Max Tomczak. With just under 12 minutes to go in our opening quarter, and now we'll get the official call from John Shea.
After further review, there was no targeting on the play. Number 11 may remain in the game. The result of the play is a catch and a first down at the 33-yard line.
And I think they saw what you were talking about, Frank, was that Ullman was kind of stuck there, and
he's in a bad spot. He's kind of trying to protect himself too. I mean, you can't you can't jeopardize yourself. I mean, you kind of balled up and turned the shoulder a little bit, and as I said, it looked that hit. It looks a lot nastier than it is.
So Ullman remains in, and we have movement up front.
I don't think number 51 is going to win this argument.
So there's the South Dakota State defensive line was calling for a false start.
Yeah, I don't think Green is going to win this argument. I mean, they shifted that offensive line. He jumps. So
we will get the call.
Offside with contact, defense, number 51. 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's
Logan Green, the captain, defensive tackle from Northborough, Iowa.
He's still making his case. Atta baby, yeah, right.
Got to be committed.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe you'll get it next time.
So the Penguins, with the help of the penalty by the Jackrabbits, will now move to the 28, first down and 5 after the conversion to Tomczak. Reverse to Fresh Walters, and the Jackrabbits are ready as they are there to meet Fresh Walters, the sophomore wide receiver from Fort Pierce, Florida.
Wow, great team defensive discipline on that, protecting the perimeter on the little toss, reverse, end around, whatever you want to call it. But a great job of playing your position, playing your responsibility, and limiting the Penguins to no gain.
Second down.
Loss.
Brungard in the shotgun. Brings a wide tight end in motion, Alex McDonald. Now Brungard on the design quarterback run. Speeds his way to the near sideline and out of bounds. Brungard last season set the school record for rushing yards in a season by a quarterback with 998.
Watch how fast Brungard gets to the outside. He's right there. He's beyond all the pursuit. And that's hard to do when you start inside of all the pursuit to get outside of all the pursuit on an end around. That's the speed and the pace at which Brungard plays the game. All right, and that's why he's able to pick up 6-7 yards on that, just quarterback sweep.
Brungard came into this game ranking 3rd nationally in rushing yards per game among all players, 131.5 rushing yards per game coming in. Also 3rd with 8 rushing touchdowns in the nation. This time they hand it to Jaden Gilbert, makes a couple nice cuts, still fighting, gets knocked back at the 22-yard line. But it's going to be enough for a YSU first down and a hard physical run from Jaden Gilbert.
Watch the body lean by Gilbert right here, right there, starting right there. There's the body lean. That allows him to stay on his feet. He takes the hit, he keeps going, and it's that second effort. It's that yardage after the first contact that gets him the first down.
Jaden Gilbert, sophomore from Elyria, Ohio. He's carried the ball over 30 times this season as one of YSU's primary tailbacks. 1st and 10 at the 22. Brungard fakes the handoff. Deep drop. Steps up. Open space. This is where he's dangerous. Brungard running. Gets by multiple Jackrabbits and brought down at the 11. Making the tackle on the play for South Dakota State was Dante Johnson, the junior safety.
Watch this on a little play action. They've got, this is 2 deep routes. They've got all the coverage downfield. They've got 4 or 5 guys not within 15 yards of the line of scrimmage, and Brungard sees that. He takes off. All he needs is that quick little seam, and then bam, he's picking up 10, 15 yards.
And the Penguins will not snap the ball as the first quarter comes to an end. And it was an eventful, entertaining first quarter, and we have a great game on our hands here tonight to open up Missouri Valley Football Conference play. 1 quarter in the books from Stambaugh Stadium. Penguins leading the Jackrabbits 7-0, and they'll have it in the red zone when we come back to begin the second quarter on our Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week. Back inside the Hively Family Television Broadcast Suite here in the Don Constantini Multimedia Center at Stambaugh Stadium, Youngstown, Ohio. Second quarter getting ready to get underway. Penguins leading 7-0, looking to add to their advantage as they're in the red zone. Handoff, Gilbert spun around and wrapped up at the 10. First player there, I believe, was Joe Ullman, again, the captain middle linebacker from Mequon, Wisconsin.
You know, quick shout out to that Penguin offensive line, doing a nice job of, you know, they're not really blowing the Jackrabbits out, but the Jackrabbits at defensive line they're not coming across. They're not playing on my side of the line of scrimmage, as you like to say, and that's allowing the running backs and the quarterbacks to get a seam, play with their shoulders square to the line of scrimmage, and make those necessary cuts.
2nd down and 8 for the YSU offense. Brungard looking. Forced off, far side, sprints to the sideline, takes a late hit, and there comes the marker, as that seemed a little late just at first glance, as Brungard looked to be heading out of bounds, and that may put the Penguins on the doorstep.
Yeah, bad decision by number 5. Really doesn't need.
After the play was over, personal foul, late hit out of bounds, defense number 5. Half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Cullen McShane, the junior linebacker.
Yeah, he's just got to pull up on that. He knew what he did was, yeah, it was questionable. You know, if not, you know, outright, I mean, in his mind, a penalty.
Brungard hesitates, keeps, and finds the end zone. Touchdown, Bo Brungard. And the Penguins have jumped out to a 2-score lead in the first half here in Youngstown, as Brungard finds the end zone on the ground for the 9th time this season.
Just a designed run right there, because I can tell by the action, they pull the guard, they lead the back up through. Brungard gives it a little look like it's going to pass, but really that's a quarterback run all the way, and Brungard does a great job of just knifing through that hole and getting to the end zone.
So on comes Andrew Listofka to attempt the extra point. Brendan Kilpatrick, the punter, is the holder, and Byron Floyd is the long snapper. That one is up, and through. And with 14 minutes left to go in the second quarter here in Youngstown, the Penguins
Timeout for media.
have jumped out to a 14-0 advantage on the #2 team in the country. We'll be back with more first half action on Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week. 14 minutes left to go. First half of play in our Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week between the #2 South Dakota State Jackrabbits and the #18 Youngstown State Penguins. And the homestanding Penguins have jumped out to a 14-0 lead. Bo Brungard with a 4-yard touchdown run to give his team a 2-score advantage. Josh Wilkins for the Penguins sends it deep. Garcia Castaneda will fair catch it in the end zone, and back to work go the Jackrabbits on offense. It was a good start, couple completions to start the game for Chase Mason, but he has struggled since. Just 5 of 9 for 45 yards so far in the first half. And on the ground, South Dakota State has only been able to muster 1 rushing yard thus far.
Quarterback Chase Mason, in my opinion, hasn't found his rhythm. He hasn't found his timing yet. And in the run game, Penguins have done a great job of defending the point of attack and penetrating.
Mason again off the mark as they try to get it out to Bullock, and it's low and incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
And you know, they're defending the perimeter well versus the run. You see right there the incomplete pass. That's helped the Penguins as well. Put the Jackrabbits in 2nd and long, 3rd and long. You know, not ideal for, you know, conversions. You know, getting the first, moving the ball, putting together drives. Penguins are really taking the fight to the Jackrabbits.
2nd down and 10 for Chase Mason. Looks to throw again. Rolls, now tucks and falls forward to the 30-yard line. So 3rd down coming. Last year, Chase Mason had a big game running the football against YSU, and that was a 63-13 win on Hobo Day last year in Brookings, South Dakota for the Jackrabbits. Chase Mason came in as sort of a wildcat runner and had multiple 30-plus yard touchdown runs.
Excellent point. I was thinking the same thing there on that run. You're seeing 3 Penguins around the ball and limiting his run to 5 yards.
3rd down and 5. Penguins trying to come up big again defensively. Mason over the middle, found his man Alex Bullock, and he's running down the sideline up near midfield. 1st down Jackrabbits, and SDSU needed that conversion.
They certainly did. And Mason does a great job of sitting in there, watch his setup. He's patient, good, delivers a strike to his crossing tight end. He also had the back on a little F release down the sidelines. So
tempo from the Jackrabbits. They hustle to the line, get it up and out quick, and the pass complete that time to the big tight end, Grayton Gannon, the junior, 6'4", 235 from Eagle, Wisconsin.
There's a better setup too, again, by Mason on that. Now they're going with a little bit of a hurry up, a faster pace.
2nd down and 5, handoff. Julius Loffridge fights for a few yards. Penguins physical there at the point of attack. Graydon Rollins in there on the tackle. 3rd down and short.
Rollins does a nice job. Tackling is never great. You know, people want to say tackling, there's a form fit to tackling. Tackling is doing your best to get the guy, use a guy down any way you can. And Rollins does a great job of getting that tackle and getting that running back down. I mean, it's just, it's just so dynamic, and it's never, one tackle is never the same versus another.
Big 3rd down here early in the second quarter. South Dakota State trying to get some points on the board. Mason throws, and it's incomplete as Jack Smith, the redshirt freshman, couldn't come up with it as Mason threw on the run. And another 4th down decision for Dan Jackson here.
The Penguins do a great job of taking away Mason's primary. He wanted to go with the crosser, and he came off that because he saw the coverage coming down, did not want to throw the interception. So now he holds it. Timing is a little off, going out somewhere else, and you see the errant pass.
4th and 3, and the Jackrabbits line up again to go for it. the backfield with Mason is the freshman James Basinger. 5 receivers in the formation. 4, check that. Mason, quick throw, complete, but it's short, I believe. Did not have enough for the first down, as the Penguins, Justin Wimpy, came up and made a big tackle to give the football back to Youngstown State.
Big play by Wimpy on that. Huge. You know, he's got a little bit of a cushion. He's got to protect if they want to go deep on him. But man, you talk about a break on the ball. When that ball is thrown, he sees it thrown, the ball's completed, and he makes the hardest tackle in the business there, is that open field tackle, and he gets him down short of the first. And he really only had 2 or 3 yards to work with on that.
Justin Wimpy's had a nice campaign as a starter at corner for the Penguins. The transfer from Tiffin, couple interceptions this season, makes a big tackle short of the first down marker there. And the Penguins with a chance to extend their lead, already up 14-0 with just over 11.5 to go in the second quarter. Brungard fakes the run to the back, keeps it himself down the sideline, up the white painted area, and would be a gain of about 8 on first down for Brungard.
Quarterback, watch the point of attack. You guard pull right there. They stay on their guys. Look at everybody's on their guy, and they're driving their feet. And it's hard to make a tackle. You can't really come off a blocker to make the tackle if they're staying on you and driving their feet. And that's what they do. And they give Brungard that lane that he can get by him in a hurry. And it's a nice pickup with the run on first down, a gain of 8.
This time it's Flash Wilson with the ball in his hands. A hard physical run as he drops a shoulder into a defender. Has enough for a first down as the chains move once again for YSU. Flash Wilson, junior from Farrell, Pennsylvania. This Penguin team playing with some passion here tonight. Doug Phillips talked about how this, you can call it, is it a measuring stick? Yes, it is. This is one of the best programs in the country. And it was a big night to see how the Penguins would stack up, and so far so good, leading 14-0, driving here in the second quarter for Doug Phillips and his team. Tom Zach in motion. Brungard flips it out to him, and that play's going nowhere as the Jackrabbits are all over it. First man there for the Jackrabbits was number 6, Jalen B. Lee.
Yeah, Bealey does a great job coming up. He gets all his help right there is from the inside, and really forces the ball to Bealey. And Bealey is right where he needs to be in a hurry, coming up from his corner position, making that tackle for a loss. Big play by the Jackrabbits. That's what they needed now to put the Penguins in a bad spot here, 2nd and long.
Now the Penguins facing a 2nd and 17. Brungard steps up, throws, pass caught by Tom Zach. Did he lose it? And the question is, did he ever have possession? They're going to say incomplete. I believe the initial call is going to be an incomplete pass, and it felt like Tom Zach never had full control of it from up here, but we'll get a look at it.
Take a look at the setup by Brungard. Again, off the scramble, avoids the rush, throwing the ball on the run. That's just an amazing ball that he throws to give Tom Zach even a chance to catch that. I mean, he's talking about thread and needle. That was good coverage in the back in the back end by the Jackrabbits on that.
And I think Youngstown State might get a 12 man in the huddle.
Legal substitution. 12 players in the huddle for more than 3 seconds. Offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Saw some miscommunication there in the offensive huddle for the Penguins, so now the Penguins will back up 5 more yards. 3rd and a mile here.
Got to be careful now. You've played a better game than Jackrabbits to this point in the half. You've got the momentum. You don't want to give it up. But on the other hand, you're watching this back in South Dakota. This is what the Jackrabbits need to do. They need to capture this momentum, find some sort of catalyst to get a spark, to get some points on the board.
So on 3rd and 22, Brungard drops it underneath to his tailback, Ethan Wright. The white jerseys converge as they play it wisely, keep everything in front, force 4th and long.
So this is what you see, Dre, in my opinion, from a championship program, a perennial power. You see now they've got their backs up against the wall, being down 14-0 with time clicking away in the second quarter. And I see a sense of urgency by the Jackrabbits now of playing. And here, a perfect example, 4th and 11, forcing a punt by the Penguins, which they haven't done a whole lot tonight.
So we'll see Brennan Kilpatrick for just the second time. Snap back. Kilpatrick gets his right foot into it. And Garcia Castaneda makes the fair catch at the 10-yard line. And we'll step aside. 8:39 on the second quarter clock here at Stambaugh Stadium. Penguins still lead the Jackrabbits 14-0 in our Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week. Welcome back inside the Hively Family Television Broadcast Suite in the Don Constantini Multimedia Center, Stambaugh Stadium in Youngstown, Ohio. This is the Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week. Conference opener for both number 18 Youngstown State and number 2 South Dakota State. Penguins have jumped out in front by 2 scores, but now South Dakota State gets a stop and is back on offense. Chase Mason looking deep, looking for a big play. Had a man, but overshot him, as Graham Goring, the senior from Iowa City, Iowa, had a step ahead of the Penguin defense, but Mason couldn't connect with him as the pass falls to the turf incomplete, and it'll be second down at their own 10-yard line for South Dakota State. We talked about the offense of South Dakota State. I want to make sure we hit the main characters for the Youngstown State defense. Of course, we've seen DJ Harris, Justin Wimpy at corner. Dathan Hickey and Makai Shahid are the primary safeties. Mike Wells, Karsten Marshall, Dane Hodge, your primary linebackers. Here's Loffridge on the carry for the Jackrabbits. And on defense for the Penguins, also up front, Mike Voitis and Stephen Henderson are your key defensive ends today. And at defensive tackle, you'll see a lot of Colin Vaughn, Cameron Cunningham, and Connor Johannesson. So very deep defensive unit for the Penguins. They rotate a lot of players. And now they have the Jackrabbits in 3rd and 5 at their own 15 after the 5-yard pickup from Loffridge. So far in this football game, South Dakota State is 1 of 5 on 3rd down. Under 8 minutes to go until halftime. South Dakota State looking for some positive momentum, down 2 scores. Mason, quick throw on the money. That's a first down for the Jackrabbits. That's an impressive throw and catch as Alex Bullock, the Nebraska transfer, is on the receiving end.
Mason looks to be playing with a little bit more rhythm now, setting up a little bit better, finding his, coming off his primary there, finding his secondary receiver and delivering catchable balls. Big pickup, big first down convert right there. Keep their offense on the field. That's what they need.
Alex Bullock has been the primary target for Mason. Converts there. Mason this time going to put his head down, and this may be a big play. Here goes Chase Mason. Puts his head down, gets brought down near the 40-yard line, but you see the dual threat ability as he goes to the ground and gets deep into YSU territory.
And he's at 6'4", 240, he's deceivingly fast. I mean, he's gaining ground with each stride right there. And being that big at the end, how many times do you see a quarterback lower their shoulder wanting to run the defensive back over? We see the slide so many times. That's refreshing.
That is a physical run, and we got 2 quarterbacks tonight who are physical players. That's why we highlighted them in the open. These are 2 great signal callers. A big run there. This time they hand it off to Julius Loffridge, and he pushes forward for a gain of about 4 or 5 on first down.
This is where they need that offensive line. That's just straightforward right there. Inside run, mano-y-mano, big man. Letting the offensive line control the line of scrimmage. That's a big pickup on first down. Big, that's a success. That's a win on a first down run right there. We're putting him at second now, at 2nd and 5.
Mason with Loffridge. Loffridge was named to the 2025 Walter Payton Award watch list earlier this season. One of the best tailbacks at the FCS level. He's going to have it here. Helmet comes off. Still fighting forward as a number of Penguins bring him down. You see the power from the 6', 215-pound graduate student from Houston, Texas, Julius Loffridge. There is a penalty marker down as well.
I think why the helmet came off, I think we're going to get a face mask.
Yeah.
Umpire calls that, and this is going to course, add big yardage to the end of the run.
Personal foul, face mask, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. Number 15 for South Dakota may remain in the game because his helmet came off due to the helmet foul.
I saw this coming, Dre, with the defense on the field. It looked like that defense has now sparked this team, and it's contagious with the offense. They've taken this ball now in about 4 or 5 plays, about 70, 80 yards here. They're playing with some sense of urgency. They're playing more physical and controlling the line of scrimmage.
This drive started at their own 10-yard line, and now they are marching toward the end zone. We'll have a stoppage in play here before the first down play with just about 5.5 to go until halftime at Stambaugh Stadium. A beautiful night here in the Mahoning Valley. Great night for football, great crowd on hand at the Ice Castle. Penguins have given them a lot to cheer about so far, but the Jackrabbits trying to cut into that lead as they march. And we are ready for action, it appears. Loffridge in the backfield, remains in there with Chase Mason. Fullback also in the game on the left hip of Mason. Play action to Loffridge. Mason was gonna pull it down and then decided at the last moment to try and throw it out to his fullback. That was Andrew Gustad, the junior tight end from Volin, South Dakota.
Mason's got to make that play. He's got the tight end. He's got the receiver open, slipping out. Hard to the flat, about 5 yards. Wasn't a hard throw.
We do have a late marker here, so let's check that with John Shea.
Ineligible receiver downfield, offense number 73. That penalty is declined, second down.
That's the danger of these RPOs. Sometimes the offensive line, they don't get the message that the quarterback is throwing the ball, and they get caught downfield.
Guilty party was number 73, Nate Adams, the senior guard, transfer from Stephen F. Austin, where he was an all-conference selection a year ago. Second down and 10. Handoff, Loffridge. Cuts through defenders, one man to beat. He's cut down inside the 5-yard line, but he's got first and goal for South Dakota State as Julius Loffridge sets the Jackrabbits up in good position.
Nice execution up front by the offensive line. Here they're going hurry up, and Loffridge finds the seam. And boy, he's got some speed to the outside and strength.
Mason, lofts, touchdown, South Dakota State. Grayton Gannon, the tight end, and Doug Phillips is on the other side. I think he was trying to get a late timeout, not happy with the officiating crew, but you see Mason with a nice touch throw to his tight end, Grayton Gannon. First touchdown of the season for Gannon. It's gonna help the Jackrabbits cut this lead in half if they can convert the extra point. So on to attempt the PAT is Eli Stater, the graduate transfer. Had a record-breaking and historic career at Northwestern College in Iowa prior to joining the Jackrabbits during fall camp. Snap back, hold down, and the kick is good. So the Jackrabbits are on the board with 4:58 to go in the second quarter here at the Ice Castle. It's now 14-7 YSU in front of South Dakota State in the Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week. Just under 5 minutes remain in the second quarter here at Stambaugh Stadium in Youngstown, Ohio. Dre Smith, Frank Stams, and our crew with you here tonight in the Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week. A 9-play, 90-yard drive for South Dakota State, capped off a 4-yard touchdown pass from Chase Mason to Grayton Gannon. Gets South Dakota State on the board as they now trail by 7. Here's Flash Wilson, dynamic kick returner. They'll bottle him up shy of the 20-yard line. Wilson had a 76-yard return against Towson a couple weeks ago, and the Jackrabbits aware of that and converge, and now the Penguins go back to work on offense.
So you're evaluating everything up here, what they're doing. You see how prolific that offense can be going down the field, balancing it with the run and pass. I don't think they had one negative play. They were helped by a little bit of a penalty. That was outstanding. But, man, what a performance. Now, special teams comes down, kickoff, gets them inside the 20. This momentum is building for the Jackrabbits, and let's see what they're hoping for is a 3-and-out here by the defense.
Bo Brungard takes the snap on first down, has some room, cuts upfield. Brungard out in the open field, still going at the 35, at the 20, and skids down inside the 10. What a run from the electric Bo Brungard.
Wow. What, there was, I think, 3 broken tackles right here. Watch the look at the little move right there. There, avoids 1 tackle, avoids 2 tackles. Look at the strength by him. 3 tackles right here. He's gonna, 4 tackles. All right, and he's still on his feet. Outstanding.
They quickly get to the line. Brungard runs it again. Short pickup on first down on that play. There was about 3 times I thought that run was going to be over, and it just kept going. Bo Brungard. And that Dan Jackson talked about that in his press conference this week. He said, number 12 does not run like most quarterbacks. Not only is he elusive, but he runs hard, he's physical, and he can run away from people when you don't think he might.
And you talk about recapturing the momentum and killing any kind of positive feeling right there. That goes a long way to doing it. Now they've got, Jackrabbits got their back up against the wall. Penguins are going to take their time, try to bleed as much of the second quarter clock as possible to score late in the first half.
Quick toss, Flash Wilson secures it, but is immediately swallowed up by the Jackrabbit defense. Prepared are the men in white in making the tackle. The first one there, take a look and see there was a number of white jerseys in there making the tackle on Wilson.
Yeah, solid on the perimeter right there. Gang tackling, that's what you got to do. You got a lot of skill on the Penguins offensive team, so you got to gang tackle. You got to get there. Don't think that you're the first guy at the ball is going to make that tackle.
So now the Penguins face 3rd down and goal.
You got your passing strength here to the left, your run strength to the right.
Trips formation near side. Brungard looks to throw. Now going to sprint out near side. Will he tuck it? Yes, he will, but the Jackrabbits meet him at the 10-yard line, and it looks like the field goal team will trot on for Youngstown State as the Jackrabbits do a nice job limiting the Penguins to a field goal attempt.
Right after that big run there, sound. Nice job by Green there, chasing Brungard from inside out, and then the support coming up, forcing him out of bounds. Good stop.
It was a 74-yard scamper for Brungard. It sets up this field goal attempt from Andrew Lastovka, the reigning National Special Teams Player of the Week, and he will look to add to the Penguin lead. Out of the hold of Kilpatrick, the kick is up, and the kick is good. Andrew Lastovka, his first field goal of the evening. He is now 6 for 7 on field goal attempts this season, and the Penguins lead 17-7 with 2:25 to go in our second quarter. And South Dakota State will look to build on their first touchdown of the game as they'll get the football back.
Again, now can't say nice job by the Penguins there, answering the touchdown by the Jackrabbits on that, albeit 3 points, but it still makes it a 2-score game now. Got a little bit of a cushion. The big thing is you got to play defense now. With 2:25 left to go, this team is, the Jackrabbits offense is more than capable of putting points up on the board itself. Plenty of time.
So Josh Wilkins will tee it up for Youngstown State. YSU took a tough loss to this South Dakota State team last year. Doug Phillips talked about how it was unacceptable to lose the way they did, 63-13 at South Dakota State last season. Penguins have come out motivated here tonight, leading by 10 against the number 2 team in the country, but a long way to go here. And South Dakota State will try to put together a 2-minute drive before the intermission here as Chase Mason goes back to work.
I just looked up in the stands. A beautiful crowd here tonight, Dre.
What a showing of Penguin fans here tonight. And Doug Phillips said during the week that he wanted Youngstown to come out and support this football team. What beautiful night. Two great teams, two ranked teams. South Dakota State, one of the best in the nation coming in. Youngstown community came out to support their Penguins. Hoping to see a victory here tonight. South Dakota State hoping to stay undefeated. Chase Mason sets up as the Jackrabbits look to inch closer to the Penguins, who lead by 10. Handoff on first down to Loffridge, and the Penguins right there. Karsten Marshall was in the mix, as well as Dathan Hickey.
That's just an outstanding job by that defensive line. They're outsized by the Jackrabbits right there, but they're holding their own. They're getting off blocks. Linebackers doing a great job of filling behind them, and they limit that play right there to no gain on first down.
The game is stopped for the 2-minute timeout. Timeout for media.
And that takes us to the 2-minute timeout. 17-7 is the YSU lead over South Dakota State. We'll be back to close out the first half.
2 minutes.
The Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week. Back here at Stambaugh Stadium in Youngstown, Ohio. Missouri Valley Football Conference opener for both South Dakota State and Youngstown State. 2 minutes left to go until halftime. Penguins in front of the number 2 team in the land, 17-7. As we close in on halftime, Jackrabbits trying to add some points before the break. Mason sets, fires deep, but he's off the mark. Bullock was the intended receiver. Dane Hodge was giving chase for the Penguins, incomplete.
Yeah, surprisingly way off the mark on that. Ball was thrown behind the receiver on that. He was open. He had the defender beat. Nice pressure by the Penguins. Probably made Chase Mason release the ball, throw the ball sooner than he wanted to with that downfield route.
3rd down and 10, and now all of a sudden Youngstown State's thinking about maybe getting the football back with some time.
They've got 3 timeouts.
54 to go. Mason drops. Loft sideline guy is wide open. That's Bullock. And right at the 35-yard line, and it's enough to keep the drive alive, and the Jackrabbits on the move.
Bullock does a great job of selling this route, so much so he gets the defender turned around. Defender doesn't even know the ball was thrown. And, of course, Mason recognizes that. That's great chemistry between the two, the quarterback and the receiver.
Bullock played the last 3 years at Nebraska. Before transferring to South Dakota State, they go back toward Bullock, but it's incomplete that time, out of bounds.
We're seeing a lot of incompletions by Chase Mason. Unusual for a quarterback that's in the 70% completion percentage range or accuracy. Yeah, surprisingly tonight.
Mason just 11 of 21 for 91 yards and the 1 touchdown. Also had the big 34-yard run. Mason to throw on 2nd down. Pulls it down. The big 6'4", 240-pounder brought down just shy of the 40-yard line. 3rd down as the clock continues to move.
See, nice job there, collapsing on the quarterback run. You know that was a point of emphasis by Coach Phillips coming into this game, especially after the performance last year by Mason.
So South Dakota State will take a timeout with 1:18 left to go until the teams head to the locker room. 17-7 is the YSU lead. The Penguins jumped out in front 14-0. South Dakota State cut the lead in half before a 29-yard field goal from Andrew Lastovka. Leaves us at 17-7 Penguins. Youngstown State, we talk about this series a little bit. The Penguins have had their struggles against South Dakota State, to put it lightly, as of late. Penguins have lost each of the last 6 meetings to the Jackrabbits. We mentioned the 63-13 loss out in Brookings last year. They also lost 34-0 to the Jacks here at Stambaugh Stadium in 2023. YSU's last win against SDSU was 2017 when they beat a top 5 Jackrabbit team here at the Ice Castle, 19-7. But this would be a big statement win for a Youngstown State team looking to take a big jump this season. Jackrabbits, meanwhile, trying to stay undefeated, right where they have been at the top of the rankings. 3rd and 6 now. Big play here late in the 2nd half. Mason steps, throws, ball tipped in the air and intercepted. Dathan Hickey's got it for the Penguins. And he will be brought down, and YSU will have a chance with a little over a minute to go to add to their lead. A huge change of events here late in the second quarter.
See the ball right here. Good setup right there. Boy, he delivers the ball. That's a hard ball right there with a lot of velocity up on it. Gets a little high on the receiver, gets into the shoulder pads, and then you see the tip, and then Hickey comes down with the interception. Great job of forcing a turnover by the Penguin defense, giving that offense a chance to put points on the board before half.
8th takeaway already for the Penguins in 4+ games now. They had just 7 all of last year in 12 games. Dathan Hickey with his 2nd interception of the season. And now Brungard will look to get the Penguins some more points before halftime. Stands and gets hit as he tried to swing it out into the flat. And I think there's the defender.
Yeah, they never ruled that. They were ruling that as a lateral. Now they're calling it an incomplete pass.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. 2nd down.
It's one of those where if you don't know, go. If you're a defender.
That was a little late coming in with the incomplete pass. But as you're alluding to, if you don't hear that whistle, you're playing. You're recovering that football, and the defender rightly did that. He was going for the football. They may be reviewing this.
Yep.
The ruling of the field of an incomplete forward pass is under further review.
You know, we got a good look at it here, being just between the 50 and the 45. To me, this is a lateral.
I initially thought it seemed like it went backward. That's about as
sideways as you can get right there.
That's what I was thinking.
But no, that in my opinion, that's a lateral.
So the call on the field was incomplete forward pass. So now they'll take a look at it and determine if the call should be upheld or overturned. See,
so he throws that about the 42.
My takeaway is going to be probably tough to
that
overturn.
That other look we had is a little bit better.
I feel like it's going to be.
But like you're saying, if there's no conclusive evidence to overrule it, then they'll stand as an incomplete pass.
Dathan Hickey comes up with the big interception off the tip pass. Hickey's been a big-time defensive addition for the Penguins as he came in after playing in 29 games at Yale during his career.
Take a look at right here. So where's the ball thrown? It's thrown at about the 42. All right, and it bounces almost on the 42.
Yeah. The call.
The ruling on the field of an incomplete forward pass is upheld. Please reset the game clock to 1 minute, 4 seconds. 1:04. Thank you.
So we'll add a few seconds back on the second quarter timer. And the Penguins will go back to work after an incomplete pass. 2nd down and 10 as they wanted to do their due diligence, take a look at it and make sure. Brungard in the shotgun. 2nd down and 10 from his own 47. Set up a middle screen, and there's a lot of room there. Great open field tackle to save more yardage. I believe that was Van Tol. Chase Van Tol, the sophomore linebacker, saved a bigger play.
Van Tol kind of sneaks in behind all those offensive linemen. Does a great job making that shoestring tackle.
Brungard again over the middle. This time it's the tailback Gilbert making the reception. Brought down shy of the marker.
Good recognition from up in the box. They're seeing those backers really bail on pass, so they're hitting the soft little middle, underneath middle. Right here it is again.
We have a marker behind the play, could be a hold. And Brungard scampers out of bounds far sideline, but Shane Keenan, the right tackle, is going to get hit with a holding penalty here.
Holding. Offense number 62. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. 2nd down.
Talk about that YSU offensive line, or South Dakota State offensive line. YSU, a stout O-line as always as well, but that time
see the hold right there.
Yeah, Keenan gets caught. That'll back the Penguins up.
Still got plenty of time. They got all 3 of their timeouts left according to the scoreboard.
I believe the Penguins have not used one. So Brungard looks near side. Pass is complete to Luke Hensley. Nice move to get upfield past the defender. The Penguins will kick it into high gear.
Call a timeout here.
Clock getting dwindling down under 20 seconds.
Timeout, Youngstown State. Their first of the half. Please reset the game clock to 21 seconds. Thank you.
Good job of Brungard getting that ball out, recognizing that.
Correction, 23 seconds. 23 seconds.
That back end, that secondary for the Jackrabbits are really cushioning the receivers, giving them those underneath routes, protecting against the deep throw. But yeah, you take what the defense will give you and just keep nickel and diming them, especially if you got 3 timeouts. Here, I don't know what's the field goal longest.
Career long is 51, and his season long is 48. He made a 48-yarder 2 weeks ago in the last game at Towson.
He's just beyond that right now.
He has shown the ability to extend the range a little bit. Doug Phillips talks all the time about how important that aspect of the game is. Penguins will now face 3rd and 1. 23 seconds officially left to go until halftime. Brungard looking to add to the Penguin lead before the teams go into the locker room. The junior quarterback takes the snap. Pocket collapses, somehow gets it out to Hensley on a crosser. Hensley spins, gets brought down. It's a first down for the Penguins. It'll be another timeout called by Doug Phillips, I believe. And it will be.
Timeout, Youngstown State. Their second and a half, 30-second timeout.
So now 14 seconds to deal with. First down. Now you're definitely within Andrew Lastovka field goal range.
Seeing Brungard doing a nice job of managing the offense. Again, taking what that defense gives you, they're really defending the deep ball, so you're taking the underneath routes. You've got some timeouts, but you really want your receivers, you really want to keep those timeouts, especially the last one for the setup for the field goal, and hopefully your receivers can get out of bounds.
Bo Brungard, 13 of 19 passing for 109 yards, 1 touchdown. He has also ran the ball 12 times for 119 yards and a touchdown, almost 10 yards per carry. So the dual threat ability of Bo Brungard on full display once again here tonight. South Dakota State, meanwhile, Chase Mason, 11 of 22 for 91 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception.
When we know this, what's the one thing you can't afford to do right here? And I'm sure Brungard knows this as well. You can't afford to take that sack. Right now, it's just Jackrabbits are showing a 3-man rush. I don't see any pressure.
Brungard got hit, ball's loose, still on the ground, and South Dakota State's gonna have it. Now, there's 6 seconds left, but Brungard didn't see the rush coming, had the ball knocked loose, and recovering it was Logan Green.
Brungard
trying to make the play, holds the ball a little bit too long, doesn't see the pressure coming from his blind side, and that's a great job by Green there, covering the football, but also knocking that ball out of the quarterback's hand, creating a big turnover right there, and taking really a chance for points off the board by Youngstown State.
Dawson Ripperda, the junior defensive end, was the one who knocked it loose from Brungard's hands, and then getting on the football for South Dakota State was Logan Green, the captain defensive tackle. So 6 seconds remain in the second quarter. I think we'll see something relatively safe here for South Dakota State, but for them to keep 3 points off the board there, force a turnover, helps them out in their second half comeback hopes. Down 10 here. Mason, they're going to send receivers deep. Mason will throw it, and nobody home, incomplete with no time on the scoreboard clock, and that'll take us to halftime here at Stambaugh Stadium. So the Penguins jump out to a 14.
The half is not over. The half is not over.
Okay. John Shea lets us know the half is not over.
Please reset the game clock to 1 second.
Had a feeling that might be coming.
Come on, John. Come on.
Everybody's ready to go to the locker room.
Yeah, right.
That's funny. And now South Dakota State will have to get back in formation one more time. Teams were on their way, ready to go.
Yeah,
not so fast.
I think everybody is looking. It looks like he's just going to take a knee.
No more messing around. Just get into the locker room. So taking a knee is Chase Mason. And now we will head to halftime at Stambaugh Stadium. The Penguins led 14-0. Jacks got back within 7. A field goal from Andrew Lastovka puts the Penguins up 10 at the intermission. We have plenty more coming up at halftime. Stay with us. This is the Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week with the Penguins leading the Jackrabbits.
Everybody else back in the secondary. And the throw to the end zone is intercepted. It's intercepted, and the Redbirds have won it in overtime.
The Vandals next. A ranked matchup as the Big Sky Conference season gets started next week. Good move by Osho, who already has a touchdown run, and he's into the clear. Osho down the sidelines, and he is gone. Touchdown, Sycamores.
Institution, it's really special. Yeah, it's the highest honor you can really have too. And I think there's a lot of people.
Sawyer Seidel breaks free now. Seidel on the ensuing kickoff will not be caught. Touchdown, North Dakota.
And then the long pass to Doss. Wilson will take this as 1 yard line, cuts towards the middle of the field, 15-20, gets away from a man, almost tripped up, has to beat the kicker, he does, to the 30, and finally tackled from behind inside the 25.
They go back to Fletcher, bounces in, and he's in for a touchdown. USD
here on 3rd and 3. Urena takes the high snap pressure right up the middle, rolled away from one man and right into Kobe Claiborne, and that's never a good choice if you're a quarterback.
First third down conversion of the game comes with 13 minutes to go in the third quarter. Balmerton intercepted into the waiting arms of Staling down the sideline for a touchdown. There's a penalty flag on the play.
Welcome back inside the Hively Family Television Broadcast Suite here at the Don Constantini Multimedia Center in Stambaugh Stadium in Youngstown, Ohio, where the Youngstown State Penguins, number 18 team in the country, hold a 10-point lead, 17-7 over the number 2 team in the country, South Dakota State, in our Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week. Take a look at our first half statistics. Penguins with the edge, running the football, 129 yards, and 104 of them coming from quarterback Bo Brungard, as he is over 100 yards once again, 13 carries, a touchdown for Brungard, and he's also 13 of 19 for 109 yards and a touchdown through the air. On the other side, South Dakota State quarterback Chase Mason, 11 of 22, 1 touchdown, 1 interception passing. He also has 4 carries for 39 yards, had a long 34-yard scamper, and their leading receiver has been Alex Bullock with 7 catches for 64 yards. And take a look at time of possession, also in favor of the Penguins. South Dakota State came in leading the nation in time of possession, holding the football for over or nearly 36 minutes a game. So the Penguins doing a nice job so far. Frank, what are your big takeaways?
Well, Doug Phillips and his team came in with a good game plan. They played faster initially. They were more ready to play this game than the Jackrabbits were. And they caught the Jackrabbits. And they took advantage of it, and they scored early, and they kept that lead, and they still have it going into halftime here. You can see it, in the stats. Sometimes the stats don't always tell the story, but they do here. And you see the efficiency that they're playing more efficient. in the passing game. And I think that's the difference. They're able to keep that offense on the field longer, score more points. Jackrabbits had the one drive that resulted in 7 points for them, but other than that, they're trying to get something going. But the turnover there late in the first half really cost them, an opportunity to score. So right now, Youngstown, better game plan going into this game, more ready to play the game, and they're out executing the Jackrabbits.
Penguins in front at the intermission, at home, leading South Dakota State 17-7. We'll be back to take a look at our first half highlights after these messages. Back here at Stambaugh Stadium, the Ice Castle in Youngstown, Ohio. The Penguins of Youngstown State are out in front of the number 2 team in the country, South Dakota State, 17-7 in the Missouri Valley Football Conference opener for both of these teams. As we take a look at our first half highlights. Chase Mason. His Penguin defense has had him a little bit off the mark. Came in, tops in the nation, completing almost 72% of his passes. But as you mentioned, Frank, the Penguin defense has had him a little out of rhythm at times here through 30 minutes of action.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the lack of execution, lack of performance by the Jackrabbits in the first half results in the 7 points, where typically he's up around 70%. He may be 50%. Just not making the plays to keep that offense on the field. And on the other hand, you see Brungard here making plays right there, hitting his receiver for a big game, keep the offense on the field, and he's doing it with his legs as well, outrunning the pursuit from a quarterback position there to pick up a big gain in the run game. And here, and then he takes off running again, make another play, just continues. Brungard continues to make plays.
See Brungard going into the end zone, over 100 yards, a touchdown pass and a touchdown run for the reigning first team All-Missouri Valley Football Conference performer, Bo Brungard. Big second half of football coming up as the Penguins look to pull the upset. The Jackrabbits look to come back and stay undefeated. Second half of football in our Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week is coming up next. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to the Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week as we get ready to start the second half. Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a complete pass but getting an interception. So don't settle for just any insurance when there's State Farm. Talk to an agent today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Second half ready to begin here at Stambaugh Stadium. Penguins lead by 10. Looking for a program change. I don't want to say program changing, but a massive victory for a program that's looking for a statement win. Doug Phillips' 6th year. 30 minutes away from that. Meanwhile, the Jackrabbits look to stay undefeated and come back from a 10-point deficit here. Flash Wilson will receive the kickoff. Marker comes in from near midfield. Wilson still moving out toward the 30 and will check the flag. The Penguins will have it first to begin our third quarter. Looks like this one's going to back wide shut.
A lot of times, this could be a push in the back, could be a hold, but it doesn't bode well for the receiving team. Typically,
During the return, holding, receiving team number 35. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Starts him in a hole. Not what you want to see. That first half was relatively mistake-free by the Penguins, and this is not how you want to start the second half. But that's what the game is. Games just loaded with adversity. How do you handle adversity?
Head coach Doug Phillips for YSU talked about how football games take on different lives. You have to be able to weather the storm, and now Penguins have to play from in front. Here's Brungard, short gain on first down. I'm sorry, Frank.
No, you get the +1. You see the quarterback is a big part of that run equation for the Penguins. That's a design quarterback run right there with the running back leading up, and you get the extra man as far as the blocking with the quarterback run. So it's very effective, and why not when you've got a quarterback as effective a runner as Bo Brungard.
Second down and 9 for the Penguins. Tom Zach in formation to the far side, in motion I should say to the far side. Brungard drops, looks, quick throw off the hands of Mike Solomon and out in front of it, out of his reach, incomplete. Now 3rd and long for YSU. South Dakota State looking to get a quick 3 and out, get the football back, and march closer here early in this 3rd quarter. Penguin offensive line, we talked about that South Dakota State offensive line. Well, the Penguins always good as well up front. Preseason All-American Des Millie at left tackle, as Isaac Perkins at left guard, Van Keen the veteran at center, Joseph Farrow right guard, and Shane Keenan, second-year starter at right tackle. Brungard somehow gets out of the pocket that was collapsing and then gets forced out of bounds, as the Jackrabbits do a nice job containing the junior quarterback and forcing a punt.
Van Tol right there, number 28, does a great job of spying the quarterback, anticipating the quarterback run, and really chasing him down short of the first down. Good pressure by the Jackrabbits there, anticipating pass, and then limiting the lane that Brungard could run through.
That was a high snap, handled well by Kilpatrick, somehow got it away. And if you're Youngstown State, you are just thrilled that that punt got out without being blocked or worse. So we'll keep it here.
It's getting a little chippy out there, Dre. I see some things, some non-football related moves out there that the coaches need to settle their guys down. Nothing worse than getting a personal foul or an unnecessary roughness call and costing your team, field position or a first down or something that you just don't want. You got to keep your poise out there.
Heated Missouri Valley Football Conference opener. Big game for each of these teams to open conference play. Mason steps into a throw, man wide open, Bullock has it. Tackled inside the 5, a big play for the Jackrabbits. They'll be set up 1st and goal.
Bullock slips out of there. He's not even looking to, well, he is. He's staring down Bullock, and Bullock gets behind his man and beats him badly. And Chase is able to put that ball out there. Bullock makes a nice catch. Big gain for the Jackrabbits.
Mason on 1st and goal. Handoff, Loffridge, physical run, reaches for the goal line. Touchdown, South Dakota State. And the Jackrabbits answer after forcing a 3 and out. They convert it into points, and they are right back in this game.
Bam, that's just power football right there. Great second effort. Gets the touchdown on it. Nice job by the Jackrabbits getting that the defensive stop, the 3 and out, getting the ball at midfield, and then scoring quickly. And that's what you get from a championship program. There is no quit in this team, and you're in for 60 minutes of football if you're the Penguins.
Eli Stater on to attempt the extra point to try and bring the Jackrabbits within 3. Kick is true, and with 12:50 remaining in the 3rd quarter, we have a great game on our hands in this conference opener between number 18 Youngstown State and number 2 South Dakota State. Penguins now lead by 3. Back with more 3rd quarter action after these messages. $12:50 remaining in the 3rd quarter here at Stambaugh Stadium in our Missouri Valley Football Conference game of the week. The Valley opener for both the South Dakota State Jackrabbits and the Youngstown State Penguins. A 3-yard touchdown run from Julius Loffridge brings South Dakota State within 3. 17-14 now, early second half. Flash Wilson will let the kickoff from Ryan Harrington go through the end zone. And the Penguins go back to work on offense, looking to answer the touchdown from the Jacks. Brungard leading the offense.
Yeah. And more importantly, they've got to do something to shorten this game. We're 2 minutes and 10 seconds into the second half, and the Jackrabbits have 7 points on the board. That, you've got to keep that offense. Doug Phillips got to find a way to keep that offense on the field, really to keep the Jackrabbits offense off it. So you got to put together a drive, at least get some field position out of it, get it up to the 40 or 50. If you don't make it, then punt it away and let your defense play. But you got to get 1 or 2 first downs here.
Brungard, high throw, and it's caught. Good timing. On the reception is Max Tomczak, first team All Missouri Valley Football Conference selection a year ago.
There's great execution. This is great chemistry between Brungard and Tomczak on that. That's a route that they've probably run, hundreds of times in the summer and in the preseason as well. Great throw and great catch.
Brungard, open space up the middle. They converge at the 45. Good gain on first down for the junior quarterback. It'll be second and short.
And that's what you want. You want that win on first down. And if you can get it through the run game, even better. Now this opens up the playbook more for Doug Phillips and his staff at second and long. Puts the pressure on that defense. Or second and short, I'm sorry.
First-year offensive coordinator for the Penguins is Mike Yursich. 25 years coaching at the collegiate level. Most recently was the offensive coordinator at Penn State. Now calling the plays for the Penguins. 2nd and 2. Brungard rolls near side. Time running out. Completes the pass to Michael Manna, the tight end. It's going to move the chains. Short gain, but it's effective. Manna holds on. Took a big hit.
That's just a great job by Brungard on this. He's got nothing. He's got nothing here, but he waits for Manna to get open, and he makes the connection there. Short gain, but that's all they needed for the first down.
6'4", 230-pound tight end, redshirt freshman from Lauderhill, Florida, Michael Manna with his second catch of the night. 1st and 10 at the 49. Flash Wilson in motion. Wilson has it. Here's the speed. Flash Wilson leaps a defender out to the 30 of South Dakota State. Put it in their playmakers' hands. Flash Wilson on the carry.
You see why you call him Flash now. Great job. That is a forward pass right there. And Flash Wilson gets it perfectly on the run. And he's to the perimeter in a hurry. And he's beating the pursuit of that defense. And he's able to find the lane and a big pickup.
Brungard surveys. Now fires toward the sideline, high out of the reach of Luke Hensley. Wise just to get rid of that one and play another down.
And get rid of it, he did. There was really nothing there for him. He had underneath on Henley, he had underneath coverage closing from the middle of the field, and then behind him as well. And he just wasn't going to take a chance. Just don't want to turn the ball over here. He's probably still haunted by the situation where they to put possible points off the board, and about the same part of the field there where Jackrabbits got that turnover.
2nd down and 10 after the incompletion. Penguins go to tailback Ethan Wright, who came flying out of the crowd, out of the pile, and able to get up to the 25-yard line. He's a transfer from Cincinnati in his first game back after suffering an Achilles injury last season.
Watch the effort by Wright right there. He just refuses to go down, stays on his feet, keeps his shoulders square, is able to keep, that's just wonderful. Football really is. A lot of plays that you see out there, they're made by second effort.
10-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. Penguins up 3 on the move, 3rd and 5. Big play here for the YSU offense. Pressure comes. Brungard underneath. That was a lot of physicality there defensively. Well, Hensley was the intended receiver. Seemed like there was a grab.
A lot of contact. Take a look at this. Running the quick little in right there. Yeah, there's a lot of contact right there.
Coverage Isaiah Johnson, the senior. So now on 4th and 5, incomplete. No laundry on the field. Brings out Andrew Listofka. Listofka, junior place kicker. Out of the hole to Kilpatrick, and that one is off the mark, wide right. So Listofka, who is dependable, typically unable to come up there. And with 9:43 to go in the 3rd, we'll step aside. The score remains 17-14. Youngstown State in front of South Dakota State. Jackrabbits will have it when we return. Back here inside the Hively Family Television Broadcast Suite, the Don Constantini Multimedia Center at Stambaugh Stadium in Youngstown, Ohio. The Penguins of YSU lead by 3, but South Dakota State has captured the momentum as they have pulled within 3 and have the football back after a missed field goal for the Penguins. Handoff, Julius Loffridge. Gets upfield, still moving as the legs keep churning. Great run from the senior tailback, Julius Loffridge.
Breaking tackles. You see how strong he is right here as he takes it, runs to his right. Bam, there's one tackle broken, two tackles broken. Staying on his feet after contact with the third. Takes a fourth guy to bring him down. That's just strong running there by Loffridge.
Mentioned earlier, Loffridge leads active FCS running backs in career rushing yardage. Came into this game just under 3,500 rushing yards for his career. They'll go back to him here around the edge, puts the shoulder down, tackled on the play by DJ Harris, but on the move are the Jackrabbits once again.
Yeah, and on the move with balance. You know, you've got the running game right here that's working for him now, and then we know what Chase Mason can do. To this point of the game, he's not probably had the performance that he's wanted, but he can heat up in a moment's notice.
Second down and 4 now with 8.5 to go in our third quarter. Give it to the hot hand, Julius Loffridge. Cut down but falls forward, and that should be enough. And just a little short. Third down and short now for South Dakota State as they'll bring in some substitutions. The Penguins look for a big third and short stop.
So in the first half, we saw really, Penguins having their way, dictating the pace of the game, having the Jackrabbits on their heels. Now, as we were talking during the break, the momentum is shifting. Now the Jackrabbits look to be having it their way.
Power formation, handoff to the up back, and that's plenty for a first down. And it should move the chains, and it will. So the Jackrabbits keep the drive alive, looking to tie it or possibly take their first lead of this ball game.
And you see the importance right there. Second or third down and short, all right, versus where the Jackrabbits were playing in the first half. 2nd and 10, 3rd and 11. That's just not high conversion rates for first downs. As a result, they weren't able to keep their offense on the field.
Fresh set of downs here. Play action to Loffridge. Mason looking. Bullock again is down there, and he's got it at the 15-yard line. Having a night is Alex Bullock. That is his 9th catch. He's over 120 yards, and the Jackrabbits are on the move deep in YSU territory.
The play action right there freezes some of the secondary, is allowing Bullock to get behind the defenders, and of course Mason is recognizing that, and they're connecting big time. You're going to continue to see that if you're in the secondary for the Penguins. You're going to continue to see that here going forward.
On 1st and 10 at the 15. Mason gets around a couple defenders and then bottled up. Short gain, if anything, on first down. Extra lineman comes in the game for the Jackrabbits as they look to take the lead for the first time tonight. Penguins had control most of the first half, but a championship program like SDSU, there's no panic in this group. Stay the course.
This team is battle tested.
Mason takes the snap, handoff, Loffridge, hesitation, puts his foot in the ground, and he goes to the end zone. Touchdown, Jackrabbits. Julius Loffridge sprints in to give South Dakota State their first lead of the game.
See, there's this runner following his lineman, having the patience there to let those linemen get out in front of them, engage with their blocks, staying on your feet, and then that hole just opens up, and he finds it on his way to the end zone.
Third rushing touchdown of the season for Julius Loffridge, and it puts South Dakota State ahead 20-17, pending the extra point attempt from Eli Stater. Out of the snap of Caden Olivia, the hold of Max Pelham, the punter. Good operation, kick is good, and with 5:54 remaining in our third quarter here at Stambaugh Stadium, the South Dakota State Jackrabbits, the number 2 team in the country, have taken the lead. We'll be back with more third quarter football in our Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week. Welcome back to Stambaugh Stadium in Youngstown, Ohio. Dre Smith, Frank Stams, and our entire crew with you here tonight in the Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week. Appreciate everyone tuning in with us for a great FCS matchup in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Both of these teams open league play, and a Julius Loffridge touchdown puts the Jackrabbits ahead 21-17. Short kickoff fielded by Alex McDonald, the tight end, who secures it. And now the Penguins will go back to work, needing a response as the Jackrabbits have seized control here in the third quarter. Penguins led 14-0. Jackrabbits cut it to 17-7 at halftime.
Please reset the game clock to 5:54. 5:54. Thank you.
17-14 after Loffridge's first touchdown. And he goes in once again, the last one, 14 yards out to put South Dakota State ahead 21-17. Just under 6 to go in our third quarter. Run guard with Jaden Gilbert behind him. Tight end in motion on first down. Back to throw. Steps up. Lets it go. Deep. And it's out of the reach. Too deep for Fresh Walters, the transfer wide receiver. Impact player last year at Iowa Western Community College.
Walters had a step on him, and run guard's going for the big play. Just, did the right thing, threw it out there, let your receiver run underneath it. Just a little bit too far, but I like the aggressive approach. The offensive line did a decent job protecting him on that, letting him get the ball downfield on a
guard keeps it near side, not a whole lot there. South Dakota State strings it out. Third down coming for the YSU offense.
And you see that South Dakota State defense stiffen here. They seem to, as this game has gone on, they've gotten better. They've gotten more sound. They're playing faster. These perimeter runs. We saw a perimeter run in the first half by Brungard. He was able to turn the corner and pick up 6 or 7. There, similar situation, wasn't able to do it.
Third down and 9. Just over 5 to go in this third quarter. Penguins needing something here to recapture some momentum. Brungard throws, had a man, but it's incomplete as Mike Solomon couldn't bring it in over the middle of the field. So the Penguin punt team will take the field once again.
Brungard, he escapes. He finds his receiver on the scramble, delivers a catchable ball, but Solomon isn't able to come up with it. You need that execution to keep that offense on the field. Don't want to sound like a broken record, but this is what's plaguing the Penguins now, and not unable to put points on the board. They can't keep their offense on the field.
Kilpatrick punts it away. Taylor. Catch. Some late extracurriculars going on the near sideline, and a penalty marker is going to come in after the play as the long snapper Byron Floyd was run out of bounds, or maybe he ran a Jackrabbit out of bounds, as of course both teams are pointing at the other.
Right.
You know how that goes.
Right. Yeah. So the way that the long snapper got up and went back to his part of the field leads me to believe that he was the guilty party on that.
I was thinking the same thing. Right. He wasn't putting up too much of an argument.
Right. Again, we talked about this, a couple of minutes ago. Got to keep your poise. This is not something that you want to go against you, adding 15 yards to their field position like they need any help.
So it's been all South Dakota State so far here in the third quarter. Trailing by 10 at halftime, they have rallied to score 14 straight points and take the lead, as we have a long conference here with our officiating crew to sort through this one. Dan Jackson, South Dakota State head coach out there. Doug Phillips,
I think they're trying to figure out who started it.
Right.
Just like on the playground. Okay. Who's going to detention?
John Shea's had a busy night as he tries to sort this one out here. And as you mentioned, it'd be a big play either way.
You know what? Just give it to both of them, and then we'll just call it square.
Right, we'll call it square.
Right.
All right, I think we're ready to get the call from our referee, John Shea.
After the play, personal foul, face mask, kicking team number 49, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Oh boy.
So it's Byron Floyd, the long snapper who transferred in after being a starting long snapper at Buffalo Pitt, that gets hit with the personal foul, and that will move South Dakota State out into great field position near the YSU.
Yeah, and you really don't want to bench your long snapper. No, it's not a position you want to, you know, discipline them.
And now it'll be Jackrabbit football looking to add to their lead.
Got to cut down on the big play. Now, if you're the back end of Youngstown State, you can't give them that big play because, yeah, chances are they're going to go back to it here.
Right back to Julius Loffridge. Productive run, couple yards, tackled on the play by Colin Vaughn.
You're going to see the same MO here, run, then take a shot. Run, pass. You know, they're in control of this game. Very methodical. To me, I'm looking at it as Jackrabbits are going to take a very methodical approach here, take their time. They're playing a little bit more physical than the Penguins right now, and again, they're in control of this game.
Loffridge, a lot of room, hesitation, nice cut, puts his foot in the ground, still dragging defenders out near the 32-yard line, and Julius Loffridge is starting to really get it going in the backfield for the Jacks.
Yeah, nice job by that offensive line right there. You see that the running back, as he comes to the line of scrimmage, he's got his shoulders square. That means he can go left or right. And with that kind of vision that Loffridge has, he sees the hole, the leverage to the left, and then he accelerates through that. But the key there is he's not getting any penetration. He's not having to deviate from his run, and it's all because of that offensive line's doing a great job.
Right back to Loffridge. Penguins that time right on it. Helmet came off of a YSU defender.
Numbers 8, helmet came off for Youngstown State. He's got to go out for one play.
Cunningham will have to head to the sideline for a play. So second down for the Jackrabbits.
Youngstown's got to find a way to build on this first down win, of no gain. You got to get them in third and long, and when I say third and long, 7 yards or more.
Second and 10, just over 3 minutes left in the third quarter. Back to Loffridge. And there he goes, Julius Loffridge, pushed out of bounds, shy of the goal line, but he is dominating behind that big offensive line in the run game right now. Down inside the 10-yard line, they're going to mark him out at the 5.
You see that. Look at the downfield blocking by the offensive line. 54 lead, down there with Loffridge. It's just exceptional when you've got offensive linemen that are just blowing up corners and safeties and linebackers downfield 6, 7, 8 yards.
Penguin down on the far side.
Yeah, they found a weakness with that run there, and what they're doing is blocking down, pulling the two guards.
Player of the defense presented as injured after the ball was spotted. By rule, Youngstown State will be charged his first time out of the half.
That's one of the new points of emphasis this year in college football, is that they don't want teams feigning injuries to try and slow a team down or impede the offense. So if a player goes down after the ball's been spotted by the officials, they're going to hit the team with a timeout. So the Penguins will be charged their first timeout of the second half with 2:50 to go in the third. Makai Shaid, the safety, is the player being looked at, I believe, on the far side for YSU, the sophomore from Gahanna, Ohio, as we take a look at what lies ahead. Of course, this is the Valley opener for both of these teams, but there's still a lot of football to be played here early in this 2025 campaign. The Penguins, regardless of what happens tonight, win, lose, draw, have to go on the road for 2 top 15 matchups the next 2 weeks at North Dakota, and then they'll be at Illinois State. So they got to refocus regardless of what happens here tonight for a tough test next week at North Dakota. Meanwhile, the Jackrabbits will be back home against Northern Iowa next Saturday, and big home game against North Dakota State coming up on October 25th that I'm sure everyone in Brookings and in Fargo has circled. First and goal at the 5 for South Dakota State. Julius Loffridge, feet still moving, stood up, offensive line pushing, and finally we'll get a whistle as Loffridge is stood up at about the 1.5–2 yard line. Jackrabbits with a touchdown here could take a commanding lead. In a game like this, a double-digit lead could be huge. And there's Loffridge again, into the end zone, touchdown. South Dakota State and the Jackrabbits imposing their will here in the third quarter as they now lead by 2 scores with over 2 to go in the third.
Right, just smash mouth football now for the Jackrabbits. They're just lining up and running that ball, running it right at Youngstown State. They're running it between the tackles. They're running outside runs. You know, they're doing whatever they want in that run game, and that's very demoralizing to a defense when an offense can do that.
Third rushing touchdown of the evening for Julius Loffridge. 20 carries, 127 yards, and the 3 scores for the graduate from Houston, Texas. Extra point from Eli Stater is good. 2:18 remains in the third. There's Dan Jackson, first-year head coach for the Jackrabbits. Has to be proud of the way his team never panicked. Down 10 at halftime, down 14 in the first half. But just kept doing what they do, and here they are.
I was thinking the same thing. What poise out of the Jackrabbits. I mean, they go down, 2 scores, 14-0. But did they turn it around here, and here with 2 minutes to go, like you said, going into the fourth quarter, 28-17, they've got the lead, and and they're looking to build on that.
South Dakota State looking to win their 7th straight meeting with Youngstown State, and also looking to win their 7th consecutive Missouri Valley Football Conference opener. This is a program under former player and coach Dan Jackson, now leading the way. And here's ready to make another run in this conference and beyond. Leading by 11 with 2:18 to go in the third. The Jacks will send it away. Flash Wilson, the always dangerous return man, fields it at the 1. And he'll bring it out. And he is swallowed up at the 15-yard line as the Jackrabbits now playing with energy and emotion. And the Penguins need a big drive from their offense here. Brungard will come back out. Brungard on the day. 16 of 27 through the air for 146 yards and a touchdown. 17 carries, 114 yards and a touchdown on the ground.
Very sound. Jackrabbits are very sound in all their play right now. Offensive, see even special teams right there. You see, Flash was frustrated getting up. There's just nowhere to run. Coming back, he's lucky to get that ball back to the 15.
Brungard, pump fake, underneath, goes to the tight end, Manna, cut down after a gain of about 3 or 4 on first down. And an injured Jackrabbit, and they're calling for help from the sidelines.
Timeout for an injured player.
Check on the injured Jackrabbit. Michael Manna made the catch. Get a look at the play.
Take a little crosser here by the tight end. Bam goes. I always hate to see players go low like that. And
Kite Fife, the junior linebacker from Grand Island, Nebraska, being attended to. Fife, one of the many players for this program that come in as freshmen. We talked about it before the game, Frank. In this day and age of the transfer portal and so much movement and change, South Dakota State, you look at their depth chart, and it's a lot of starters that have been in this program for years as backups, learning what they need to learn in this program, and now they're ready. And an old school approach, but working very well.
To me, growing your team, committing to those players, sending them a message. We're not going into the portal when you're a senior or a 5th year. you've got that loyalty is a two-way street, and there's no better way to grow your team, except organically. You can't. It's hard to put together 15, 16, 17 new guys and be a perennial winner. And I think the best way is to grow it like South Dakota State has done, and you see the success they're having.
Brungard going to go to an open Ethan Wright, who has room to run underneath. Brought down out past the 40-yard line, so the Penguins needed that. As they get a quick hitter underneath to Ethan Wright and get a first down.
Great job. Great setup right there. He's got the protection that he needs, finds the open receiver and Wright. He's wide open and big yardage after the catch.
Under a minute and a half to go in the third quarter. Brungard, empty set. Flips it out to Fresh Walters, takes a big hit as he gets up to the 45. As that was the safety, Kobe Bretz, I believe, that Nebraska transferred. Brought the shoulder down on Walters. The Penguins will hustle to the line with tempo, second down.
That's still a nice play on first down. That's a win, a gain of 4.
Brungard, pressure coming, flops it out to Fresh Walters, and he went up to try and get it. It's incomplete.
He's getting some pressure, but Brungard, right there, you see the pressure. He had to throw his bearing down on him. He felt it coming from his backside there and delivered the ball unsuccessfully. You saw him in the first half making those plays. Right here, you see this. He feels the pressure, delivers the ball for incomplete. But here, this is a situation where in the first half they were winning. 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. Let's see if they can repeat that.
Penguins desperately need to stay on the field. 3rd and 6. Throw out toward the sideline. Incomplete, but we may get a pass interference call against the Jackrabbits here. Hensley got run over on the outside. As the defender for South Dakota State, 13. Aiden Dowderman was the senior in coverage.
Dowderman does a great job of recognizing the route. He's all over that route. It just sometimes you can't.
Pass interference, defense. Number 15, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Yeah, the problem is you can't go through the receiver and contact him like that to make the play. And he just caught too much of the receiver there. Even though you're playing the ball and you're wanting to catch that ball, you just can't, referees just don't like it when you go through the receiver to do it.
Now the ball moves further into South Dakota State territory at the 41-yard line.
Correction, spot foul, automatic first down.
So we'll get that sorted out. Now we're ready to go. Penguins with a power formation. Tight end Alex McDonald on the left tip of Brungard. Couple backs in there as well. Flash Wilson in the formation. They fake it to Wilson, and Brungard keeps it and gets swallowed up in the backfield. I think that was number 93, Kevin Spellman, transfer from Valparaiso.
Watch Spellman right here. Just run down Brungard from the backside. Boy, you talk about a nose for the football right there and playing deep in the backfield.
Check that. Blake Leiferman on the tackle, Richard, 97. Those jerseys curl up, Frank.
Nice
they
job.
Look like
I thought it was 93 too.
Yeah,
great job, Blake.
Blake Leiferman, Kimball, South Dakota, with the chase down of Brungard, and now it's 2nd and 12. Out the Flash Wilson. Makes a couple cuts, but good defensive pursuit once again for South Dakota State. 3rd and long.
They're good. The defense has made, the Jackrabbits defense has made the adjustment. We started to see it late in the first half.
That's the end of the third quarter.
And now they're building on they're building on it in the third quarter, and they're making more stops.
End of the third quarter at Stambaugh Stadium, a third quarter owned by the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. They lead by 11 as we head to the fourth in the Missouri Valley Football Conference game. Ready to begin the fourth quarter here at Stambaugh Stadium in our Missouri Valley Football Conference game of the week. Bo Brungard, empty set, 3rd down and 11 for the YSU offense, trailing by 11. Brungard going to go to his main receiver, Tom Zach, left it short. Tom Zach had to fight to make sure it wasn't intercepted by Isaiah Johnson, who had great coverage. It's 4th and 11, and the Penguins appear to be punting it away.
Tough pass to complete by Brungard there. Great coverage by Johnson on Tomczak, and then he had the safety coming over the top. Not a high percentage pass to complete there on 3rd and about 4. Or 3rd, I'm sorry, 3rd and 12.
So now Kilpatrick back to punt. Hangs it up there. It'll take a bounce into the end zone, and that's a touchback, and it'll take us to a timeout. Early 4th quarter in Youngstown. Jackrabbits in control at the moment, 28-17.
Timeout for media.
14:44 left to go in our Missouri Valley Football Conference game of the week. .44 on the 4th quarter clock as South Dakota State has it back. 1st and 10, leading 28-17. They have outscored the Penguins 21-0 here in the second half to take control of this contest as they were down 14 in the first half. Handoff on 1st down goes to the freshman Basinger, and the Penguins string it out for a loss. Mike Wells, one of the first defenders there for Youngstown State.
That's that play they've been seeing a lot of success with the other running back Lofridge. Right there, they get the penetration from inside. Great job of getting to the backfield before he can get downhill behind his offensive lineman to the outside.
Sophomore defensive tackle number 56, Connor Johannesson, there to help bring him down as well for the Penguins. 2nd and long. Hand off again, and the Penguins ready for it again. Preston Zandier in the mix for the Penguins. 3rd and long, and this is what the YSU defense needed here.
Right. Yeah. They're not getting beat. They're not, you know, the Jackrabbits are doing a great job of blocking down, getting those linemen outside to the perimeter and just playing downhill on everybody there. Easy run for the running back here. Penguins are doing a great job of matching that speed, not getting hooked, not getting, you know, not being vulnerable at the outside, and then the support is coming up and limiting that play. And here you got 3rd and forever, or 3rd and 15.
Mason steps up, avoids the pressure, now fires late and connects. We have a penalty marker as well, but what a catch in traffic by Graham Goring, the senior, who went up and got it on 3rd and 15.
I don't know what's better here, the laser that Mason's throws or the catch that Gordon makes.
Pass interference, offense, number 84. Half the distance to the goal, 3rd down.
Wow.
Costly penalty right there.
Costly penalty. You're right, Frank. What a throw by Mason,
Yeah.
late across the field. The catch by Goring is wiped out on offensive pass interference against Bullock, Alex Bullock, who's had an unbelievable night with 9 catches and 153 yards, but that time gets caught. Pass interference, and it's now 3rd and even longer for the Jackrabbits, backed up all the way inside their own 10. Penguin defense desperately needing to get off the field and get the football back to their offense.
I think you're the Jackrabbits right here, deep in your end of the field. You want to throw something safe. Maybe let your receiver catch and run a little bit, get some of the yardage back, play the field position game.
Handoff goes to Basinger, the freshman. Penguins stack it up, bring him down, and it'll be a punt from the end zone for South Dakota State. So the Penguins with a big stop there defensively. Now look to get good field position coming out on offense.
Great job by that defense, especially against the run right there. You know, the 3 runs that they tried, it was probably there were two of the 3 were tackles or plays for losses by the offense. So nice job by the Penguins versus the rush.
Senior punter Max Pelham is out to send it away. His 3rd punt of the night. Penguins come with some pressure. Pelham gets it away. Tomczak retreats to the 40, makes the catch and brought down quickly. With that, we will step aside. 11:57 remains in the 4th quarter here at Stambaugh Stadium.
Timeout for media.
28-17, South Dakota State in front. YSU will have it when we return to Stambaugh Stadium. Welcome back here, Youngstown, Ohio, the Ice Castle, the Valley opener between the Penguins and Jackrabbits. South Dakota State, number 2 in the land, leading by 11. Penguins with it back, needing a drive. Brungard drops it underneath to his tailback, Jaden Gilbert. Picks up positive yardage and out of bounds on first down.
There you go, if you're a Penguins fan, right. Nice job. Take what that defense will give you. That's a big win. Or I shouldn't say big. That's a win on first down, puts you at 2nd and 5. Simple little pass right here with the quarterback roll out. All right, high percentage to get completed, and then build on that.
2nd down and medium here. Play action, throw over the backers to Max Tomczak, who takes it down inside the 30. Well executed play there. As Brungard got the defenders to come up, dropped it over him to Tomczak.
That play action right there will keep those linebackers frozen, and then he's able to dump the ball to the receiver, you know, between the back end and the linebackers. It was well executed play, nice touch by Brungard.
5 receptions, 56 yards and a touchdown tonight for Max Tomczak, the preseason All-American. He has now recorded a reception in a school record 38 consecutive games. 2nd in program history in career receptions. 3rd in yardage. Brungard, pump fake. Now slings it. Tomczak's there. Touchdown, YSU. Brungard to Tomczak, and the Penguins are right back in it with 10:31 to go.
I'm watching Brungard in the pocket. I do not see what Tomczak does to get so open. There it is, the little shake right there, and he gets the defensive back to bite up on it or freeze. Tomczak gets behind the defender, and a strike was thrown to him by Brungard. Nice job, nice execution.
6th catch of the night for Max Tomczak, 2nd touchdown. And the Penguins now can pull within 4. Listowka's extra point is up and good. 10:31 left to go in the 4th quarter.
Media.
The Penguins now trail by 4. We got a good one here tonight at the Ice Castle. Jackrabbits 28, Penguins 24 after the touchdown to Tomczak. Back with more 4th quarter action after this. A 3-play, 59-yard drive in just 1 minute, 26 seconds. Bo Brungard hits Max Tomczak, 29-yard touchdown connection. 2nd touchdown connection between Brungard and Tomczak tonight. And gets the Penguins their first points of the 2nd half. They are now down 4 in a 2nd half that's been controlled for the most part by South Dakota State. Isaiah Castaneda takes the kickoff, and it'll come out to the 25, where South Dakota State will look to put a drive together here, leading by 4, 10:31 left to go in the 4th quarter. Looking at the team stats here tonight, very even. Rushing yardage, 162 for South Dakota State, 141 for the Penguins. Passing yardage, 180 for South Dakota State. Penguins have jumped out ahead in that department now after that drive with 236 through the air. 1 turnover for each team. See who is going to start Missouri Valley Football Conference play 1-0. As South Dakota State goes back to work, 1st and 10 at the 25. Senior quarterback Chase Mason at the controls. Handoff to Loffridge, who's had a big 2nd half. And he'll power forward for a decent gain on 1st down.
The thing that the Penguins got to guard against here is the big play. I think in every one of the Jackrabbit scoring drives, there's the big play. If they haven't scored off the big play, you know, it's hard for an offense. If you're the Penguins, it's hard for an offense to put together 12, 13, 14 play drive, come away with points. So you can give a little bit, but you got to stay solid and make the Jackrabbits earn it.
Loffridge again. Bounces off a couple defenders and gets out to the 34-yard line. Shy of the 1st down. 3rd down and 1 for the Jacks.
You know, and when I say big play, passing game, 20-plus yards, or in the run game, really rushes in 15 or more. chance to get that defense off the field, but this is where the Jackrabbits want to be on 3rd and short.
Tight power formation on 3rd and short. Hand off to the fullback in the up position. Falls forward, has plenty across the 35 for a first down. Just power football. What you expect from South Dakota State, North Dakota State. Physical mentality. And now it's 1st and 10 as we go under 9 minutes to play.
You know, we talked about this. This South Dakota State team is battle tested. They've been in these situations before. They know how to finish games with the lead. Right now at 8:45, they've got the ball with a 4-point lead. They've got a chance to finish this game off.
Quick throw. Bullock again. He has been the main target all night for Chase Mason as he catches it underneath, and he's going to be a couple yards shy of the marker. But a nice pickup on the completion to Bullock.
Great throw by Chase Mason right there, hitting Bullock on the I'm going to say the sideline side of the reception, away from the defender. Very smart, great execution by the quarterback.
Now in great position, 2nd and short. Quick throw, nearly intercepted. It was behind the intended receiver Bullock, and Makai Shaid nearly came up with a game-changing interception.
Yeah, right here. Sometimes here I see Chase Mason just a little lackadaisical on the throws, almost taking them for granted. Right there, there's a situation where you can't miss on that. And Shaheed almost comes away with a pick. And Chase Mason knew it because I was watching him after the throw. He was heading for the tackle.
Now another big 3rd and short. Again, jumbo power formation for the Jackrabbits. Man in motion. Handed off again to the fullback, and it's another first down. Not complicated. Not a whole lot of not a whole lot to figure out.
We could introduce this to 7- and 8-year-olds and they'd get it, right? So
we're coming right downhill.
Yeah, we're pretty straightforward. That's fullback dive right there.
Now South Dakota State in ball control mode, leading by 4, trying to take time off the clock and ice this one away and head back to Brookings, South Dakota, undefeated and 1-0 in league play. Looking to win their 7th straight Missouri Valley Football Conference opener. Play action to Loffridge. Mason sets, fires, looking, and it's incomplete. Pass was intended for Isaiah Garcia Castaneda.
You know, I understand the aggressiveness. I understand playing to win. I understand all that. But I don't understand throwing an incomplete pass on 1st down when you're trying to bleed as much. You got the running game working for you. Now you stop the clock, all right, and you put yourself in 2nd and 10. This will be interesting to see how the rest of this series goes from here. This set of downs.
Loffridge, who's had a big second half, in the backfield. They're going to throw it. Mason, incomplete. It was catchable for Garcia Castaneda, but can't come up with it. A little behind maybe, but it's now 3rd down. And as you mentioned, Frank, now 2 incompletions and the clock's at 7 minutes.
Yeah. Now you're in a situation where you know, I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're going to throw the ball here. Defense knows it. You can see some pressure. If I'm a defensive lineman, man, I'm giving you my best pass rush move right here. I'm forgetting about the run. I'm trying to get to the quarterback in a hurry. You've got a linebacker coming up. Looks like showing pressure on this. He may be spying the quarterback with Mason's ability to run.
10, crowd coming to life for their Penguins. Mason somehow got out of 2 tackles, fires incomplete. Got hit late, but a huge stop for the YSU defense to get it back to their offense here with 7 minutes left to go. Mason did a great job to keep the play alive, but the Penguins get off the field.
You see him sitting on a spot. He's getting the pressure, feels it. He does, as you say, does a great job of escaping all that pressure and getting rid of the ball for no gain on that with the incomplete pass. But big stop by the Penguins. And again, you know, you can give a little bit, give a little bit, make them earn everything. A lot of times offense is a falter. That was the philosophy that I always grew up. Make them earn it, make them earn it, make it earn it. Chances are, you know, they're going to implode, and Penguins do a good job of that.
Pelham sends it away. Takes a YSU bounce. And then will fall back inside the 20, where it will be down by the Jackrabbits. And if you're Youngstown State, first half went very well. You're up by 10 at the half. Second half has not gone your way. You score, you're in position now with under 7 to go.
You got to
lead a drive that could give you the lead.
I think if you went to Doug Phillips at the beginning of this game and say with the ball, you got a chance to win this game in the fourth quarter, he says, I'll take it. I'll take it. Now, so you got to be thinking, you don't want to get crazy here. Certainly you want to put together a game-ending drive here, score, no time left, win the game and all that. But you got to think realistically, if it doesn't work for you, you get one more possession off of this.
Brungard fakes the run. Now going to sprint out. Tucks it, eyes on the ground, and skirts out of bounds, but a positive gain on first down. Penguins will keep the drive moving, stay ahead of the chains.
That takes a lot of discipline by Brungard there. He wants to throw that ball. He really, really wants to throw that ball, but he's smart and to know that you can't turn the ball over here. You can't take any unnecessary risks. He scrambles, gets the ball out of bounds, and for a nice pickup.
2nd and 5. Flash Wilson to the edge, brought down. Great effort on the edge as the play was made by the junior linebacker Cullen McShane, who's had a big night defensively for the Jacks.
Cullen McShane does a great job stringing it along. Look at that. Look at that effort by McShane, by the faster running back right there. He stays on his feet. He keeps fighting. Great effort right there, and he's able to come up with a huge tackle.
Game high 11 total tackles for Cullen McShane tonight. That one for a loss to force the Penguins into 3rd and 9.
Looks like the Rabbits are a little confused here.
Late movement, and now we're going to get a timeout. And you're right, Frank. They did not like what they saw defensively.
Timeout, South Dakota State. Their first of the half. 30-second timeout.
As head coach Dan Jackson and defensive coordinator Brian Bergstrom said, no, we're going to play it safe here.
Right.
Get in a defense we're comfortable with. So now
the clock was running. It's up to you.
Please reset the game clock to 5:35. 5:35. Thank you.
I still add a few seconds back. 5:35 is what we'll have in what has been a entertaining football game tonight in our Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week. Penguins came out firing, up 14-0, then they led 17-7 at halftime, but South Dakota State came roaring back in the 3rd quarter as they scored the next 3 touchdowns to take the lead and have held on to it to this point. Penguins looking to drive it and regain the lead.
Margin for error. This is you're now, for both sides, your margin for error is slim to none. A mistake can cost you the football game here. So you're going to see a very, I don't want to say tight.
We're going to get an offside call here. They drop it underneath to McDonald, the tight end, short of the first down, but it seemed like Brungard with the hard count got the Jacks to jump into the neutral zone. Across the line of scrimmage, we'll see. I believe this is going against the Jacks.
Offside, defense number 99. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Dawson a ripper to the junior defensive end, the guilty party. So now Youngstown State sets up in 3rd and about 4.
Don't be surprised if they give a dual threat here where they work Brungard out of the pocket where he has a chance to make a play with his feet or his arm.
5:20 on a moving 4th quarter clock. And there it is. They roll him to the right. Brungard in trouble, heaves it out of bounds. And that's what you had to do there. Well, you want to give yourself a chance to get a stop and get it back.
Well, if I'm thinking it, the Jackrabbits defensive staff is thinking it too, and they do a great job of defending that, especially defending the field on that, anticipating him coming to his throwing arm, and boy, they were all there to contain the quarterback.
Offense, number 12. Lost it down at the spot of the foul, 4th down.
Intentional grounding.
Yeah.
Wasn't he out of the pocket, though? He's out of the tackle. I mean, he's well out of the pocket. But he didn't get back to the line of scrimmage.
I don't think it got back to the line of scrimmage.
Yep, so there we go. So that'll back the Penguins up a few more. And Kilpatrick has had a busy second half after only punting once in the first half. He'll send it away. Now the Penguins will have to get another defensive stop. Marker on the snap is down. Kick will take a YSU bounce, get picked up by Taylor at the 40. Gets behind a block, takes a big hit at the YSU 45. And now we'll check the marker that came down at the snap, back at the 10-yard line. 5 minutes remain. Here's the call.
Illegal formation, kicking team, more than 4 players in the backfield. The 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
So South Dakota State will have even better field position here as they'll mark it off 5 yards deeper into YSU territory with 5 minutes left to go. The ball will be at the Penguin 40. South Dakota State looking to, if they get in the end zone here, that might be the finishing touches on this victory.
Yeah, and you know, with 5 minutes to go here, again, we talked about a methodical approach to an offense trying to score. You know, you're going to get that right here with the Jackrabbits. They opened up the last series here with about 7.5, 8 minutes to go, throwing the ball. You know, I don't think they're going to throw the ball here. It's just going to be a heavy dose of Loffridge right here, left and right.
Under center, Mason turns and gives it to Loffridge. What a run. I mean, if there is such thing as an impressive 4-yard run, that's it right there, because there was not much there, and he found the crease. He is a talented back, and that's why he's the active leader in rushing yards.
Timeout for injury.
He's a smart back too. He's a mature back right there. He's patient. He's waiting for something to develop, and it does develop. He's got a lot of confidence in that offensive line that something's going to develop. He's been coached that way, and give credit to that offensive line. They stay on their blocks, and they finish their blocks, and enable him. Really, he gets bounced at the point of attack, but then with the second effort and redirecting, you know, he's able to pick up 4 yards.
Loffridge ran for over 3,000 yards in his 3 seasons at Fordham. Ended his career there 5th on the school's career rushing chart. Also 6th in Fordham history with 26 career rushing touchdowns there. And he has continued the success as a Jackrabbit. 2nd and 6, under 4.5 to play now, as the Jackrabbits will let that play clock wind down and try and chew up as much time as they can here, leading by 4 late. Mason now will shift an extra offensive lineman and an up back, H-back. Loffridge, power run, great blocking up front by the O-line, and Loffridge gets all the way down inside the 25.
That hurt. If you're a Penguins fan, that hurt right there. And of course, for the Jackrabbits, if you're watching and rooting for them, you know, that's exactly what you needed now to bleed another, you know, 2.5, 3 minutes off this clock.
So now if you're Youngstown State, looking to force a field goal attempt possibly, and at least give yourself a chance here to be down 1 score. Gonna have to start thinking about some timeout usage. Penguins, of course, remember, have 2, and plus the 2-minute timeout coming. They did have to use 1 because of a injury infraction earlier. Handoff, Loffridge again, there he goes, and that might be the exclamation point on a big Jackrabbit victory as Julius Loffridge goes into the end zone for the 4th time tonight. And the Jackrabbits now lead by 10 with over 3 to go.
Just solid. Look at that blocking downfield by the offensive line. Total domination by that offensive line on the defensive line. I got to believe that defensive line for the Gwins is tired. That whole defense is tired here in the second half, but just total domination there by the Jackrabbits offensive line, and Laughlin, he knows what to do with it with a downhill run like that.
Eli Stater will come on to try and make it an 11-point game with 3:17 to play. That kick is good. And 35-24 now. South Dakota State leads, and the Penguins really have some work to do with just over 3 minutes to play. What a night for Julius Loffridge again in his first Missouri Valley Football Conference game after transferring in from Fordham. 25 carries, 176 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 7 yards a carry. That's a fair effort from your senior tailback from Houston, Texas. There's a reason he was named to the Walter Payton Award watch list.
Very solid, great balance, great strength, great vision, patience. You see the maturity and where he wants, waiting for the holes to open up. Just a Loffridge, just a solid back. You have certainly will get a chance to play on Sundays. The future's bright for him.
So many, not just tailbacks, but every position that have come through the Jackrabbit program. Remember Pierre Strong years ago. So many talented players that have come through. Or Zach Zenner years ago. Low kick, fair caught by Alex McDonald as they just kick it high up to the up man. Now the Penguins have to kick it into high gear.
Please reset the game clock to 3 minutes, 17 seconds, 3:17. Thank you.
Whitehead, he's a stickler for those 1 seconds.
He's keeping a tight lock on the game clock.
I like it.
All right.
Paul Brown was like that. He was attention to detail on everything.
I can respect that.
No,
sure.
That's the only way to be. That's the only way to be.
That's it. And now Brungard will have to provide some magic for the Penguins here late, down 11. Sets, throws underneath. Gilbert on the reception. He'll force his way out past the 40, and the Penguins now have to kick into 2-minute mode as they need to score twice. Can only stop it twice other than the 2-minute timeout.
And try to get the ball out of bounds if you can. Stop that clock any way you possibly can. Gain as much yardage.
Brungard again checks it down to Gilbert. Up the field, out of bounds. Short of the first down, but it will be out of bounds. Stop the clock for YSU, and now they'll wind it as he was forced out. And Brungard hustle his team up, look at the sideline as Mike Yursich, the offensive coordinator, gets the play call in to his junior quarterback. Brungard, 4th time this season, he's gone over 100 yards passing and 100 yards rushing. He has 106 on the ground tonight, 255 and 2 touchdowns through the air. But down 11 late. Brungard now going to pull it down, tries to get away from the defender. Kobe Bretz wrestles him down at midfield. 3rd down and a long one. See if the Penguins can snap it before the 2-minute timeout, and they are unable to. So 2 minutes remain
for the 2-minute
in the fourth quarter.
Timeout for media.
Here tonight, Penguins trying to make some magic happen down late. Jackrabbits in great position to stay undefeated. 35-24, South Dakota State in front. We'll be back with the final 2 minutes of our fourth quarter. Dre Smith, former national champion defensive lineman, and NFL linebacker Frank Stams back with you here. Thank everybody for being with us here tonight in our Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week. 2 minutes to go. Penguins down 11, looking for a bit of a miracle here late. Pass caught over the middle. In-breaking route to Fresh Walters. Penguins hustle up to the line, needing to score quickly. Ethan Wright is on the right hip of Brungard on 1st down. Brungard twirls that ball as he looks downfield. Now finds Wright underneath, forced out of bounds. Clock will be wound as they'll keep it moving with 1:40 to go. 2nd down as Brungard gets everybody in position. Steps toward the sideline. Pass is caught by Max Tomczak. Wow. Close coverage. That was great coverage on the play by Noah St. Just. But Tomczak able to come up with it for his 7th catch of the night. 3rd down and short after the catch by Tomczak. Brungard pump fakes, now runs, has some room to the far side. He's going to tuck it, hit the afterburners, and there's a marker late. Well behind the action.
That is way behind the action.
I really didn't. I was looking to see if it was a hold. I didn't see any action that might indicate that.
I saw nobody for a red shirt to hold.
That's what looks like it might go.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense number 97. Half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
Wow. That was just so far away from everything.
It was just
kind of late.
It was a late. I think he probably had trouble getting it out of his belt. A late flag.
I was saying that's a hold. I didn't see it. Here we go. And now might have even more late game dramatics. 1:01 to go. Penguins trying to draw closer and give themselves a chance at an onside kick. Tomczak will come in motion toward the near side. 1st and goal at the 5. Brungard stands, looks toward Tomczak, and it's nearly intercepted as it sailed toward the sideline. And going up to try and get it was Kobe Bretz. Nebraska transfer at safety from Omaha, Nebraska.
Take a look at it here. Just one-on-one there. A little jump ball situation. Tomczak just thrown a little bit beyond his reach. Lucky the ball didn't get picked off.
Now, Brungard trying to keep hope alive here at Stambaugh Stadium. Rolls to his right. Now stops, fades, floats it in the end zone, and that one was nearly picked off as well. There was a couple Jackrabbit defenders waiting on it, but it sails over their heads out of bounds. And now it's 3rd and goal. 49 seconds remain on the 4th quarter clock. Brungard, 28 of 43 tonight. 273 and 2 touchdowns. It's been the Jackrabbit running game in the 2nd half that has really been the story. Penguins will spread it out on 3rd and goal.
5 wide. You always want to guard against the quarterback run in a situation like this.
Short motion for Wilson. Brungard looks that way, now goes back middle of the field. Receiver fell down, or was he knocked down?
You got a flag.
There is a marker. It's going to be pass interference against South Dakota State. Mike Solomon was the intended receiver.
Pass interference, defense number 6. Foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic, first down.
Tough break for the Jackrabbits. You know, watch their coverage right here. They're doing a nice job defending the end zone on the last 3 plays, and especially that play there, they come away with the interference. But Jackrabbits are doing a great job, really not giving Brungard anybody to throw the ball to.
This is going to be a timeout for Jack.
Timeout, South Dakota State. Their 2nd of the half. 30-second timeout.
That makes a lot of sense. Very smart if you're Dan Jackson. 44 seconds left. Might as well get your defense together.
You want to make sure everybody's on the same page. I always appreciate it as, you know, defensive lineman, linebacker. I always appreciate the break, a chance to get water, be a little fresh, come out and give my best effort.
Tonight has definitely been an entertaining game. 2 of these teams, obviously one at the top of the FCS, number 2 team in the country, always one of the favorites to compete for a national championship. And Youngstown State, a team in year 6 under Doug Phillips that has taken strides. I think tonight you've seen a big step forward. Just the way they've competed with South Dakota State. Of course, the last couple meetings have not been competitive. Losing 63-13 last year in Brookings and then 34-0 2 years ago here in Youngstown. So.
Yeah, I got to believe. I agree. Whatever the outcome is tonight, there's some satisfaction taken away with the way Youngstown State has played and competed in this football game.
Brungard from under center, play action, rolls and finds his favorite target, Max Tomczak, for the 3rd time tonight. So now, 38 seconds left. Not completely done here at Stambaugh.
So on the roll right here where Brungard's most effective, extending the play, giving Tom Zach time to get open.
Defense, number 0. The penalties decline, touchdown.
Looks like they may be going for 2.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Think about the math. Try and be down 3. So if you do get an onside kick, you attempt a field goal to possibly tie the game. So Brungard and the offense out there to try and attempt the 2-point conversion and get within 3 with 38 seconds to go. Late shift in the formation. Brungard always dangerous with his legs in these situations. They play action. Brungard looks over the middle, defended nicely, incomplete, knocked away. Hensley, the intended receiver. Dowderman in coverage for South Dakota State. And now it's a 5-point game, and the Penguins will have to get an onside kick and another touchdown if they want to come away victorious here today, more than likely.
Brungard wanted the quick slant to his left. Jackrabbits took that away. He ended up looking in the back of the end zone for the secondary receiver. Just was too well covered there to make anything happen. But nonetheless, a great scoring drive by the Penguins. Now let's put them in a chance here. You know, it's a chance. It's not a great chance, but it is a chance to, you know, get the ball back here and maybe, you know, score a touchdown. You know, I've seen stranger things happen here, but you got a chance and you're competing.
So now you'll see 2 place kickers out there. You'll see Josh Wilkins, number 30, and Andrew Lastovka. Wilkins normally handles the kickoff duties. Lastovka is the place kicker. So you'll have 2 different kickers.
Man, I don't see anybody deep. I mean, call me crazy, but I try to, I don't know, can you race?
Timeout.
Foot race to the ball.
Their 3rd and final timeout of the half.
So South Dakota State will use their 3rd and final timeout to talk this over with the hands team. And we've seen this over the last few years in football where you see the 2 kickers come out to try and sort of confuse the receiving team on where the onside kick's coming from. So situations you work on in the off season and fall camp to try and execute. And it would require a lot of recovery.
Well, let me tell you, having recovered an onside kick in my life, it is the craziest proposition you ever want to engage with. I mean, it is, you totally got to sell out. Yep. I mean, completely sell out on trying to recover this kick. And then on the other side, you got to stay calm for the drag. It takes a tremendous poise to be on that hands team.
Here we go. Wilkins gets it to go 10 yards, but it's going to go out of bounds over the head of Alex Bullock. And that should do it, as South Dakota State will be able to come out, get in victory formation, and remain undefeated with a come-from-behind win tonight on the road in Youngstown. And that's what championship programs do, Frank. I mean,
right.
So much credit to Dan Jackson and his squad tonight.
Absolutely. You know, they fell behind. They were outplayed in the first half. But boy, did they gather.
Please reset the game clock to 37 seconds. The ruling on the field is a member of the receiving team touched the ball before it went out of bounds. First down, South Dakota State, 37 seconds. Thank you.
Regained some of their poise late in the first half, went in at halftime, made the necessary adjustments, came out, showed that, why they're a perennial power and a championship program, and just took control of the second half.
And Youngstown State, after a valiant effort, will have to refocus quickly for a top 15 matchup on the road at North Dakota next Saturday.
Timeout, Youngstown State, their 2nd timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Doug Phillips takes the timeout here. 35 seconds left. But Frank, want to thank you for being here tonight. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, man, my pleasure. Always love coming down here.
This was a blast.
Yeah.
An Akron native down here in Youngstown.
Yeah.
Former Cleveland Brown.
Beautiful. It was a beautiful night. We had a beautiful sunset. People in Youngstown came out to support. It was a nice crowd. Enjoyed a great football game.
It's a very well-played game between two good teams that obviously South Dakota State has big-time championship aspirations. The Penguins.
Timeout, Youngstown State, their third and final timeout of the half.
Penguins are a team that wants to get back to the playoffs for the second time in the last 3 years. And a couple big road games coming up for Doug Phillips and his team. As you know, we talked about before the game, no matter what happened tonight for YSU, you had to refocus because this league is very unforgiving week to week in Missouri Valley football.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too discouraged if I'm the Penguins. I mean, huge improvement over last year's performance against the Jackrabbits. You're playing one of the premier programs in your conference, if not in all of FCS, and you know, it's a great measuring stick, and you only get better from here.
Well, Frank, we want to thank you once again so much for being here. It was a blast.
Thank you, Dre.
Had fun, and we wish you the best. Hope to have you back again soon. And want to thank everyone for being with us tonight as the final from Stambaugh Stadium is South Dakota State 35, Youngstown State 30. Want to thank everyone for tuning in to our Missouri Valley Football Conference Game of the Week. Thank our entire crew, everyone behind the scenes, and Frank and our entire crew here in Youngstown for their hard work this week and tonight. And from the Hively Family Television Broadcast Suite, the Don Constantini Multimedia Center at Stambaugh Stadium, my name is Dre Smith. For Frank Stams and our entire crew, we say so long from the Ice Castle in Youngstown, Ohio, where once again the final score is South Dakota State 35, Youngstown State 30. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Thanks for being with us, and have a great rest of your weekend.